Good evening, everybody. My name is Brandon, and this is the Create Commander Twitch channel, unlike my Create Commander YouTube channel, where you may actually be seeing this VOD, sometime in the not-so-distant future, because this is a series called Out of the Box. This is where we take precons and battle them straight out of the box, and just, have a great time doing it. On tonight's stream, we have Jim from the Spike Feeders and the RCCAG, and Rachel Weeks from Channel Fireball, and also from the CAG as well. RCCAG, excuse me. And I'm just so happy to have them here. Tonight's theme is going to be how can the RCCAG and content creators, large or small, create a welcoming environment for new players. So that's going to be the theme of the night. We do have a couple of questions that we're going to ping back and forth off of them, have a great conversation, and we hope to see everybody here in chat. If you have some questions for them, obviously throw them out in chat, and I'll see if I can relay them to them as well. So we've already randomized, and Jim won the randomization toss, if you will. So I'm going to basically, we've already drawn our 7, and we have a short Rule 0 kind of thing here. I've unmuted everybody, and Jim, if you want to just kind of go ahead, take your first turn, kind of say how we came to this Rule 0. We Rule 0'd this, if you will, and what deck you're playing, and where to find you. I would appreciate it. So, off to you.
Sounds good. I'm Jim. You can find me at JimTSF on Twitter. Like you just heard, I'm a member of the Commander Advisory Group, and I run a channel called the Spike Feeders. And I would say that the way that we arrived at these decks, I think, is probably that it's a real easy middle ground. You kind of know what you're getting with precons, although I would say that the most recent precons are like significantly more consistent than older precons, but it's going to get you in the right neighborhood, and I think that's a really important thing. So anyway, I'm playing an island, and I'll pass the turn.
And Frost Guardian and Justin, thank you so much for the follows. Jeremy, on to you.
Everyone, welcome back. As Brandon mentioned, my name is Jeremy. You can find me, here. That's about it. And tonight I'm going to be playing Prosper Tomebound. Goal of this deck is to exile a bunch of things, play them, get treasure, and prosper. So hopefully we'll get to do those. So I will draw for my first turn, and I have a pretty spicy first turn. I'll play a mountain into turn 1 Soul Ring.
Whoa!
And it gets better.
Enemy. He's the enemy.
Turn 1 Arcane Signet.
Okay, now we got to kill him.
Didn't know we were playing CEDH here.
And with that, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pass.
Pre-EDH, I see. All right.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all I can do.
Well, a tough act to follow. My turn is just playing an Evolving Wilds. It'll get a swamp in a little bit here. But I'm Rachel Weeks. I'm a member of the Commander Advisory Group, and I am also the host of the comedy commander podcast, The Commander Sphere, with my co-host Dan Sheehan. The precon that I brought is from C20, and I'm playing the Abzan Athril deck, Aspect Warper. So we're doing Abzan keywords type of stuff, hopefully hitting everybody with a big bug.
Big bugs.
I'll fetch with my Evolving Wilds, and I'll pass it to you, Brandon.
Gotcha. So Jim, just wanted to clarify here. You're actually playing the full-on Savine deck, but you've chosen to go with Elsha. Any particular reason, or you just think that was the better commander that was in that particular deck?
So, being the brilliant strategist that I am, Elsha was flipped in the opposite direction when I pulled it out of the deck box. So that's why I chose Elsha today.
Perfect.
I like it.
That's my favorite reasoning ever. Okay. All right, I'll draw this card for turn. Everybody, my name is Brandon. I run the channel here, as you may have already gathered. I'm just going to play a turn 1 Forest, the most powerful play that you could possibly make, except for Jeremy's. And yeah, that's just going to do it for me. What I'm doing here is I have the Coven counter deck with Lenore Autumn Sovereign. Has that Coven mechanic. The beginning of combat on your turn, +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature you control, and draw cards if you have 3 or more creatures with different powers. So lots of different creatures with different powers and +1 counters and slinging around a whole bunch of stuff. So that's what I'll be doing. And I'd just like to take the opportunity to say before I pass here to Jim and Rachel, thank you both so much for coming on. We do appreciate it. Hey, Davy Jones in chat, we appreciate you joining us as well. So we'll be getting to the questions started here in just a bit, but let's kind of get the game going first. Pass my turn.
All right. Draw a card. I'll play this mountain.
Yeah.
And
Mountain.
I'm going to use it to cast a Faithless Looting to draw 2 and discard 2.
Talking about CEDH. Plays a CEDH card.
I will discard this. Discard this mountain, and probably, this is a big guess, I don't know what's in this deck, but I'm going to discard this Secrets of the Dead because I don't know. I mean, like, I could Faithless Looting and draw an extra card off of it, but I don't think that there's a huge flashback theme in this deck, so it's a gamble. It might not pay off.
Savin's a flashback commander.
But Savin is not the commander here.
Isn't this the precon?
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't discard it. Okay, hang on. I'm going to discard.
Yeah, so for everybody wondering, Secrets of the Dead reads whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, you draw a card.
I'm going to discard Thalia's Geist Caller instead.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
That Savin is
Is it?
man.
I'm not lying. I actually don't know what this deck is all about.
I couldn't tell you.
Savin's flashback, because it's whenever you cast a spell with flashback, you double it. But it's also 5 mana and very easy to kill for Savin.
Yeah.
It seems like it could have been sweet, and it just was a little too bad.
Whenever you cast your first. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play a mountain for turn, and then I'm gonna cast a turn 2 Prosper. Start
That's
exiling
gross.
things.
All right. Now he's really got to die.
I mean,
And that's gonna be it for me. So what Prosper says is he's 1/4 Death Touch, and he has Mystic Arcanum. At the beginning of your instep, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. He also has Pact Boon. Whenever I play a card from exile, I create a treasure token. So when I pass, I will exile a land. Something of a void. It's a
Zolfir's Void or something?
yes, that one.
The
However you
colorless one
pronounce
from
it.
Dominaria?
Yes.
Got it.
I was happy with this hand because I had 3 drops to play, and I have nothing to do, so I will pass.
I am big time same Z's right here. Draw this card.
Yeah, I was like, look at this. This is like a good fair
Yeah.
gun hand.
Yeah.
I like playing
Soul
fair
Arcane
magic.
Signet into a Prosper. Oh my goodness.
I don't like playing fair magic.
This guy. All right. I'll cast. There you go. Dum. I'll play a Sungrass Prairie. There we go. Words are hard, ladies and gentlemen. And count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fantastic. I don't have to discard. Pass.
Okay. I have a very exciting turn.
Yes.
Right.
Does it involve killing Prosper?
It doesn't.
Ah.
But it does involve casting a Soul Ring.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
And then I actually, I'm going to play an Azorius Chancery and bounce this tapped mountain.
Makes sense.
Then I get to play a card that shares a name of my favorite Magic podcast of all time.
Nice.
Limited Resources. No, I'm just kidding. It's Commander's Field.
It's me.
And then I'll pass the turn.
Nice. That's a
solid
turn. That is a turn.
Nice. Fantown Races.
Untap, upkeep, and draw. And
I was
I
watching
will.
somebody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll just play this land that was exiled, and since I play in a card from exile, I will get a treasure token.
Yeah, you gotta brag about it, huh?
Absolutely.
Powerful.
Let's see. What do I want? What can I do now?
And Jim, you obviously play CEDH quite often on the spikes.
Mhm.
Oh,
Prosper is a
scroll
pretty
stride one.
strong new commander, right?
It
Slide that
is.
to the bottom.
I actually have a Prosper CEDH deck right here. It is decidedly not the precon.
Oh,
It's an upgraded precon.
well,
Yeah, it is slightly upgraded.
I just saw Mana Vault, Yawgmoth's Will,
Yeah.
Ad Naz, like Mana Crypt. Okay.
Yeah,
Love that your
it's
Tybalt is just permanently flipped into Tybalt. So this
Yeah.
isn't gonna be Valky, trust me.
The deck is actually really sweet. One of my favorite things is that a lot of decks are playing You Find Some Prisoners. And not because I think it's a particularly good card, just because I like second person card names.
Yeah, as a D&D player, I love the cards that are like that.
Yeah, it's like you
the
kick in the
adventure
door.
game.
Love
Oh,
that.
It's
great.
awesome.
I love them.
So
Also,
I
especially
played-
you find some prisoners feels like a demand, which is funny.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Find some
Yes.
prisoners.
Yeah.
yes. So I played Chittering Witch. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, I will create a number of 1/1 black rat creature tokens equal to the number of opponents I have.
Card is
So
strong
I'll-
as well.
Create 3 rat tokens if I can find my rat tokens.
So you're saying you just got 4 bodies for 4 mana?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Seems good.
And I can also pay 1 in a black and sacrifice a creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn.
Nice. That seems
Alright.
fair.
After that, I'm going to cast Dire Fleet Daredevil. It's a 2/1 with first strike. When it enters the battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. I may cast that this turn. I may spend mana or any color to cast it. And Jim, that Faithless Looting is a single mana cost.
No, my
correct?
faith is looting. Yes. Well, it is, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and exile that, and I will crack the treasure to cast it.
Again.
Which
will-
catch it from exile will give me a treasure token.
Which will, then play a card from exile
Three
and
faithless looting? Broken.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I'll draw 2, and
yep.
then I will discard a mountain and a swamp. And then I will pass turn and exile a card with Prosper. I'll exile Apex of Power.
Oh boy.
And Rachel, it is your turn.
Alright, I will untap and draw. Play planes, and I will cast my first spell of the game. Here we go. Number 1, Nyx Weaver. Very
that's a good one.
powerful, very broken. And I will pass. Brandon.
beginning of your upkeep, you put the top 2 cards of your library into the graveyard. And then for 1 black-green, you can exile Nyx Weaver, return a card from the graveyard to your hand. Nice. All right.
Seems good. Seems good.
So,
It's a little self-mill for Cathril.
very cool. Fantastic. Well, I have nothing to upkeep, but now that we've got a few, I mean, at least one of us is playing Magic, clearly. I'm going to try and kill you, Jeremy. Anyway,
This will be my trigger reminder.
there you go.
Oh, nice.
Hey, that's a
Fitting.
good-looking die for good-looking people.
There you go. So we're going to get started here with the first question of the evening. The first one is, outside of guesting on other streams like this, does the RCCAG have dedicated plans to work with podcast streamers or video producers of any size to help grow the community and bring awareness to even smaller creators? So I can obviously, I'll pass the turn to Jim here in just a minute after I take my turn. So Jim, go ahead and answer yours, and then Rachel, you can take a crack at it when he's finished.
Sure.
I'll draw my card though.
Also, Rachel, remind me that like first or second person command thing reminded me of something, and I got a story to tell. It's a good one.
Okay.
I think you'll appreciate it because I've seen you post like editing memes before.
Well, that's fantastic. I am going to discard this Trostani's summoner and pass.
Ouch.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is an interesting question. So, growing the format, I actually wrote an article about this way before I even knew who the people on the rules committee were. I'll play as Mountain. I'm just gonna cast Elsha. That's
Red.
5. And I will look at the top card of my library,
Since you can do that now anytime you want to.
as is my right. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, I wrote an article about this. I'm passing the turn, but I wrote an article about this probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's before I started the Spike Feeders too, actually. About what I thought the rules committee's job was, like what should they be doing, and then I kind of like assessed them on each point about like whether I thought they were doing a good job. And it was part 1 was managing the ban list, part 2 was managing the rules, and part 3 was growing the community. And I don't know that I still think that growing the community is one of their responsibilities.
Okay. Fair.
I think that I would probably say that I think that it's more important for the rules committee to highlight aspects of the community that they want to encourage or see grow.
Okay.
So I don't think that like highlighting smaller creators like in and of itself is a goal, so much as I would say like if there are small creators that are really like hammering the point, you know,
Sure.
that those are the people that should be highlighted, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah. I agree. I don't think that the rules committee needs a hand in managing popularity of content creators. I don't think that's a priority for the rules committee, and I don't think it necessarily needs to be. But I do think that content creators are the best tool that the rules committee has to communicating with the larger public. So I think that the rules committee communicating clearly to content creators is very important, so that when content creators communicate, they're doing so clearly and sort of with the authority of the rules committee behind them. So I definitely think that using content creators is part of the job, because there's just the community is too big and there's too many people that don't know who the rules committee is. So the way that we handle communication right now is obviously through bannings, which are big announcements that a lot of people see, but it's sort of this trickle down communication where we communicate to really engaged players, and though we count on those players to communicate with their playgroups, who communicates with their playgroups. It's so the more that we can communicate clearly to engaged players like content creators, or people who are, you know, communicating to engaged players like content creators, the more impact we have over the format as a whole. So I do think that there's a very important relationship between the rules committee and the CAG and content creators of all size, but I don't know if it's a priority of the group as a whole to lift up smaller creators. I know that is a priority that like Sheldon has taken upon himself. Sheldon is the reason that so many people know about Commander Sphere, and Jim like retweeting us early, and MTG Mudsta retweeting us early is like a big reason that people know who we are and listen to our podcast.
Sure.
So I do think that that's like a personal thing, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a priority of the community.
So I would tack on to that one of my personal goals as a content creator is to help lift up smaller content creators.
Yes.
I just don't think that that's part of my role on the CAG.
Yeah.
Okay. Very fair. So some of this
Sense.
will actually come into play and potentially into one of our later and more final questions before we get into some of the questions from the hopefully from the chat here. If they have any, you're more than welcome to throw them out there, and we'll see if we can come back to them. But I think it's a fair thing that you just mentioned there. Like, there's not a lot of people who know who like Scott Larrabee is, or Toby Elliott is, or Gavin Duggan, or even Sheldon Menery. And then obviously everybody from U2 on the CAG to, I mean, most people who probably follow the Commander format may know who Josh Lee Kwai is, just because of the channel, but they may not know somebody like Shivam or Rachel Agnes or, you know, somebody like that that's also on the CAG. So I think as far as like an overreach or an overreaching theme is, you know, is it you guys' responsibility to grow the format? I would honestly agree with you and say no, it's not your responsibility to grow the format. But I think it's kind of the responsibility of the RCCAG and maybe how we can kind of partner together. And again, we'll get into this question in a little bit, to maybe figure out how we can work together to kind of steer the ship for a lot of consistency.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So we'll, with that, as I've completely taken over and bogarted everybody's thing here, Jeremy, I know that you've been waiting to smash my face with a boatload of rats. Go ahead.
I'm actually going to spread the love around. So I'm going to...
How you gonna spread the love around? I'm the only person without a creature.
I have lots of creatures. Creatures will get through. So I'm going to start by sending Prosper and one of the rats at Jim. And I'm going to send the Dire Fleet Daredevil and one of the rats at Rachel, and the Chittering Witch and the last rat at Brandon.
I got no blocks.
Alright,
No
so
blocks
that's
for me either.
2 Jim, one of them commander damage, because that's really going to matter with my deck.
Oh, I'm tracking it all right.
3 at Rachel and 3 for Brandon.
Okay.
Will not be tricked by this chittering witch.
No,
Jeremy?
you sure?
Fine.
All right.
Go ahead.
Need this spider.
Go ahead and block.
Second main, then I will cast Ignite the Future. I'll exile the top 3 cards of my library, which are a Mortuary Mire, Spinerock Knoll, and an Atali Primal Storm.
Oof.
And
Ooh.
until the end of my next turn, I may play those. If the spell is cast, if this spell is cast from my graveyard, it has flashback.
If the spell was cast from if that particular spell was cast from a graveyard, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost.
Yes.
So if you'd have
right now.
flashbacked at this point, you would have basically have gotten a free Atali out of it.
Yes.
Which is
Card's awesome.
kind of nutty.
Which unfortunately didn't happen.
So that was cast out of, was that what was under Prosper?
No. Prosper is the apex of power, which I'm not going to be able to cast. I don't have enough mana.
Okay.
But I think I might as well, if I have the mana for it, which I do not, never mind. I was going to cast Atali, but I do not have the mana for it this turn. Alright, so I will move to my end step, and this will stay exiled, and I will now exile a swamp to Prosper. And Rachel, it is your turn.
Alright. I will untap, and thanks to my little trigger reminder cactus, I'll mill 2 cards, a Void Beckoner and a Forest. And I will draw for turn.
Void Beckoner was a good card.
Well, that's not exactly what I wanted, but can't be super picky. I'll play Gavany Township as my land for turn. And I think I'm just gonna have to pass right there. Void Beckoner cycles to give a death touch counter.
Yeah.
Alright, take it away, Brandon.
Okay. Draw this card. Fantastic. Well, let's just keep this party going. And I'm going to discard this Juniper Order Ranger.
Rough.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Where are
pass
these
the
lands?
turn. Pass the turn.
I'll look at the top card of my library. Ooh,
Okay.
that's a card.
So typically on this channel, if someone fails to hit land drops several turns in a row, if everyone's okay with that, we let them cascade until they hit a land drop instead of draw.
Big time on board for that.
A basic land. A basic land.
Yes,
That-
basic land.
That is just fine with me.
Yeah, big
Let's
time
get
on
you in
board.
this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this Swiftwater Clips and gain exactly 1 life.
Just one?
He's
You
Just
sure?
one. Just the one.
Jim's the threat.
Precisely one.
Actually, this is a good example of what I was talking about before. Okay, so here's a little bit of Magic trivia for you. You'll never be able to unsee it on cards, okay? There are some cards that, and these are all cards that deal damage. There are some cards that just say deal 1 whatever, right? That's an instruction to you, right? Or sorry, they don't say deal 1. They say lightning bolt deals 3 damage, right? To any target. So they specify what is dealing damage. But Doomblade, on the other hand, so if you use lightning bolt to kill a creature, lightning bolt deals 3 damage. If you Doomblade a creature, it says destroy target creature. It doesn't say Doomblade destroys target creature.
You do it.
You do it. It's giving you instructions to do it.
Oh, cool.
Which, interestingly enough, like linguistically, if you wanted to like really be pedantic about it, it has some implications for protection because Doomblade is not the one doing the destroying. You are the planeswalker that is piloting the deck.
Interesting.
Ah.
Dang.
Brought this up to Glenn Jones, and he's like, "Oh, believe me, I already know," because he was an editor for Magic for
Yeah.
a long time.
Oh my
He's
god.
like, "I already know. I already had this discussion. We had a huge argument about it, and I lost." And I'm like, "Fine."
So this is my favorite Magic trivia that I just found out. The command zone is 1 zone.
Yes, I saw that tweet the other day.
So all of our commanders are just chilling in a tent, and we're like, "Hey, commander, can you come out and hang out with me?" And then they fight, and then they go back to the coffee room. They go to the commander lounge together and just hang out again.
That is amazing. I love
Isn't
that.
that incredible?
So
yes.
it's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, how like all of them are getting together for the therapy session afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
yes.
I retweeted it with an image. Do you remember from the old Bugs Bunny cartoons? I don't know if any of you watched Bugs Bunny when you were a kid,
yeah.
but
Of course.
there was that like the wolf and the sheepdog that would like clock in for their shift at the beginning of the day, and then the
Yes.
wolf would try and it's like
Yes.
this is exactly the vibe that we're going for with Commander, right?
Oh my
They show
God.
up to work and they're like, "Morning, Sam. Morning, Ralph."
That's fantastic.
I've been thinking about this for days. I'm so tickled.
I'm casting the Secrets of the Dead, and I forgot what was on top. Oh yeah, that's a spicy one. We're leaving that one on top, as though I could do anything with it. But anyway, I will pass the turn.
Perfect. All right. So moving into the next question that I would actually like to ask here, I'm gonna take over Jeremy's turn again because I'm liking to screw with him right now.
It's all good. It happens.
The second question is the rules obviously for Magic are pretty vast and pretty complicated. In general, for a lot of the rules and stuff are extremely difficult to understand even for experienced players, much less somebody getting that's brand new to the game. Obviously, you all and you as the RCCAG and judges and whatnot might be able to help explain them along with us like content creators so that new players can have a better understanding of them and how to improve their game. How do you think we as creators can help you express these rules better to help these new players have a better understanding of the game. Not necessarily faster, but in a way that they can kind of take to their their LGS on Friday nights, if they're safely having in-game play again, or in-person play again. Excuse me. How do you think that we as creators can help you express how to do these things in a more relatable way to where a newer player doesn't feel so awkward or anxious, and they have they go into a game where they basically understand what's going on. Obviously Magic is a huge learning process, and we're all still learning. I'm learning every day. And I won't say that I will ever stop learning, but a basic understanding and a competency of the game can certainly make a new player very anxious. So how can we help you in that particular regard? So Jim went first last time. I'd like to get Rachel to go first on this one, please.
Yeah.
Real quick, before you do, I played Spine Rock Knolls, so I exiled the top 4 of my library, and I'm figuring out which one I'm gonna hide away underneath Spine Rock Knoll.
Great.
That's good. I think this is an interesting question, and my gut instinct is to dodge the question a little bit, but my priority as a content creator and as a member of the CAG is not necessarily to make people better at Magic. I think that is something that each player wants to do for themselves and is working on every day and is best learned from the people they're playing against. But I do want to make sure that I'm trying to give people the confidence to walk into a social situation and be prepared for what's going to happen, and how to feel confident, and how to have the decks to perform at their LGS and feel good and capable of playing with strangers in a way that feels productive and balanced and positive. I've really put my focus on, from our podcast and from how I tweet and stuff, is I really want people to be socially prepared for Commander, and the mechanics will come with time, because it is a complicated game. I don't think content creators explaining the rules necessarily sticks or necessarily makes them a better player in a way that just playing Magic will make them better. So I think just talking about how to engage with the pod, and how to find a new pod, and how to what should you be ready for at a game store, what should you be ready for at a Magic Fest, what is it, how to build your first deck, how to meet new players in your area, what to expect on spell table. I think all of that stuff gives people confidence to find the games they want to play and give them the resources to find them, rather than being I want to make sure everybody understands the game really well, because that's just something that you're going to learn the more you play. But I do think that giving people the tools to be a better Commander player is very difficult. There's so many ways to play this game. Gosh. So I really focus on just making people feel confident and welcome. And whoa, what happened to Jeremy?
Cat attack.
Whoa.
Okay.
That'll probably happen again.
I
At
have.
some point.
It has been a long time since I've tripped that bad, Jeremy.
That's so funny. Yeah, so that, I feel like that feels like I sidestepped your question a little bit, but I do think that content creators should be prioritizing the people's quality of game, not necessarily how to be a better player or a better deck builder or a better, how to play more powerful cards. There's lots of people doing that, but what we need more of is just how to be a cooler person to play with and how to
awesome
speak successfully to other players and all of that. So
okay, I mean, I
sense.
did no, that's not sidestep, and I want to make sure that I point out something here. And I believe, I don't like to speak for Jeremy very often, but I will this time because it's his turn. He'll talk a lot here in a second. And by the way, folks, if y'all are new, if y'all are out there in Twitch land watching us or whatever, and you hear me ribbing on Jeremy all the time, we've literally known each other since kindergarten. So it's that type of brotherhood that we have with each other. Yeah, even though we may not technically be blood.
Somehow I've put up for him for this long. I don't know how I've done it.
Yeah, I haven't killed you and you haven't killed me, so we're getting somewhere. Anyhow, but I think that what you're saying here, you're not sidestepping the question at all. You're actually helping us. Like, you're helping us right now, Jeremy and I, and anybody who in particular who might be watching. Yes, there's a ton of folks out there, myself included, like even when I'm doing deck techs over on my YouTube channel. If my MTG bot would work, then this would be a good time to plug my link tree, but alas. Anyway, over on my YouTube channel, I'm just doing deck techs to be like, hey, here you go. This is how you semi-optimize a deck for a casual table, and here's this deck brew. Go try it out and make sure that you like it for yourself, and go play. So helping me understand that it's not necessarily about the deck, it's about how people can use that deck to become, I don't want to necessarily say more fun people, but do more fun things and more interactive things, is helpful information. So don't think you sidestepped the question at all. You answered it right on point in the way you should have.
Yeah.
I just think we need to prioritize the social side of the format as much as we prioritize the card part of the format, because it's just as big, if not bigger, an issue in Commander.
Yeah, and Commander's obviously the only format that you can really have this kind of social interaction, because obviously, I went to SCG Con back in October. Like, I'm not really talking to the person across from me very much. I'm strictly focusing on, okay, I'm trying to kill you so that I can get to my next round. And
totally different.
It's a completely different thing. So thank you for that. Interested to hear what you have to say, Jim.
Rachel's very smart, and her answer is better than mine. But I will say that I think that there's actually a lot of value in communication in the opposite direction. One of the things that I've found is that it can be pretty difficult to put ourselves in the well, I shouldn't speak for everybody. It's difficult for me to put myself in the seat of a new player and try and experience the game and the rules and all of these like intricacies through the eyes of a new player. And every once in a while I come across things and I say, well, this is intuitive to me, and then I'll bring it to talk to somebody about it, and then I'll find out this is not intuitive in the same way for a new player. One of the examples, I brought up a concern that a Redditor brought to me about color identity. They said, hey, I think that I should, what did they say? They said it was specifically to do with like Kozilek's Return or something like that. They said, Kozilek's Return says that it's a colorless card. I think I should be able to play it in my Kozilek deck. And I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad point. It's Kozilek's Return. The card on it says this is a colorless card. Why can't I play it in a colorless deck? So I brought it to the rules committee. And I said, I think that this is intuitive. And one of them, I can't remember who, pushed back and said, is it actually intuitive? And I brought it to my local play group that's very like offline and much more casual than my content creator play group. And I just showed them the card and I said, like, don't go look this up. Can you put this in a colorless commander deck? And to a person, every single one of them said no. And I said, well, why not? And they said, because it has a red pip in the cost. And I'm like, okay, well, there's my answer, I guess. Like, this is obviously, like, to much newer players. These are all players that have been playing for less than a year. Clear as day to them, how color identity works, right?
Sure.
And so that was a bit of a sanity check for me. So I think that there's a lot of value in two-way communication when rules may not be as intuitive as we assume they are. So if, we make a rules change, like say one of the recent ones on wishes in Strixhaven, if we make a ruling or make a rules change, and I shouldn't say we, like if the rules committee makes a ruling, and you're finding that in your playgroups people just can't understand it, that's really important for us to know. That's good feedback for us to give to the rules committee to say like, hey, we may want to revisit this because the players aren't getting it. Because I think that there's a lot to be said for being able to look at the rules and inherently like understand them, or at least to be able to predict the way something is going to happen. Because when there's asymmetry in understanding, that creates a lot of the negative social situations that Rachel was talking about, where you've got like a new player that assumes that it works one way, and then you've got a more experienced player that might be a little opportunistic, that kind of presses the advantage because they can see that they can win. And that creates a bad social situation. So any situation where we can get newer players to like understand the rules of the game without having to be a judge is a really good situation.
Wow.
A quick follow-up to that. Is there a way, I mean, even I as a moderately experienced player wouldn't know how to reach out to the rules committee or the commander advisory group. I mean, I barely know who's on them, much less how to contact them should some of these rules questions pop up. Is there, you know, some way to make that information a bit more available, or I don't know what the best way about that would be, but
I would have to say, and I don't want to obviously reach out and answer for them, but I would think that it would actually take a little bit of effort on the person who genuinely like wants to. Blue Lore, thank you for the follow, by the way. Do appreciate that. I think it really boils down to the person truly wanting to ask them the question or bring this to their attention, because to their credit, like Jim and Rachel and Sheldon and basically anybody that so far that I have reached out to on the RCCAG has been great as far as, you know, communicating or being willing to, you know, just talk or what have you. So I think that, you know, without answering for them, I think it really comes down to just move past the stigma of, man, do I reach out to them or not? And the answer is reach out, because obviously I've put their Twitter stuff into chat, and I don't think that either of them has any problem with you finding them on Twitter or whatever. So you know, this is just a prime opportunity for them to really answer that question. But I think it's more so just don't be afraid to reach out. Like if you're, you know, we were all told, we've all been told since we were young, like there's no dumb question, right? Like if you're not understanding something, there's no dumb question.
Yeah, and like, let's be real here, okay? This is the Magic community. Literally none of us are celebrities, okay?
No.
Like, you're not reaching out to like Ariana Grande, you know?
I mean, we finally got Post Malone, okay? So
We got one.
we got one.
celebrity, you guys.
Everybody's got one. So
Yeah, no, we're talking about Jim from Winnipeg, who
Yeah.
has a day job as a mild-mannered insurance company employee.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, you can go to mtgcommander.net, and that actually shows the preferred way to get in touch with each member of the Commander Advisory Group.
see, I did
And,
not know about that.
Yeah, and you can also, there is a link on the website to the Rules Committee MTG Commander Discord server. If you are on Discord, you can reach out to, there's quite a few of the people on the CAG are relatively active on that server, and you can go and talk to other people that are passionate about the format as well. And that's a good way to get in touch with the Rules Committee directly.
That Discord is such a huge resource for starting conversations, especially if you find a rule unintuitive, or if you have a question as to why something is the way it is, or you have a question about a ban. I promise you there's a reason. Everyone's like, they do this for no reason. It's a petty ban. And you're like, no, I promise you there have been hours and hours and hours of thought into this. And
yeah,
you can get the answer, and people are happy to give it to you. So
I'm still upset about Golos.
Look,
Yeah, I love
it's-
Beeflar.
Oh, I'm very upset about Golos. I put so much
that's-
time and money and effort into my Golos deck.
Yeah.
I'm so sad about that still.
But
That's the thing about bans is because they're not made lightly because we
Right.
know they affect players, particularly with a ban like Golos that affected thousands of players.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's like regardless of personal decisions about the ban, it's a decision. They're not banning things willy-nilly. There's a lot of thought going into this, and the decision got made for the long-term health of the format, even if it stings short-term.
yeah,
I'm glad it's not like standard or something where we get a ban every other week. I mean, it's the
absolutely.
limited bans. I like that.
that
I'm
was
glad
only that was
they-
only for
they
Throne,
go
Jeremy.
hard into not banning everything. I'm very happy about that. Personally.
Commander, we'll never have a frequent ban list that would match a competitive format like that.
Yes.
So everybody, I'm just gonna I've got to check one quick thing with some settings for the stream here real quick. I'm just gonna go ahead and run this 1-minute ad and kind of get it out of the way while I'm doing that. So just hang tight for me for just a second. Let me check these settings, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back, Jeremy. While Jim is looking here, why don't you go ahead and finally cast this Atali that I've been trying to delay as long as I possibly could.
I'll delay it even more. I'm gonna go ahead and move to attacks first.
Oh,
Mix things up a little bit. Prosper and Arat are coming at Rachel. The Chittering Witch and Arat are coming at Jim, and the Direfleet, Daredevil, and Arat are coming at Brandon.
Okay.
So that's 3 to Brandon, 3 to Rachel unless she blocks, and 2 at Rachel, and 3 at Jim.
I have declared no blocks and taken my damage.
Yeah, I will.
Same.
3.
All right.
Taking.
Now I will move to my second main, and I will go ahead and bring out Atali, Primal Storm. It's a 6/6. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then I may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. Not only free spells for me, but as long as Prosper's out, I get treasures.
Yeah.
And with that, I will move to my instep, and these 2 lands will stay exiled, and I will exile another swamp to Prosper.
Man.
On your end step, I'm in a bit of a predicament because I have an Abzan charm, which does say exile target Atali, specifically written on it, Atali.
Doesn't it?
But also, I would really like these 2 cards. Is Atali's probably too big of a problem with Prosper to just let live, right?
At this
Probably.
at this point, he's potentially looking at 3 free treasures a turn.
Yeah, Jeremy's too far ahead already.
It's probably a problem.
I think I will do the reasonable thing, and I will spend a spell and remove Atali.
Alright, in response, he will get exiled.
Of his own volition.
Yes, he will exile himself.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
exile Atali to himself. I will untap, trigger Nyx Weaver Swamp that I needed, Satyr Wayfinder, and I'll draw for turn. And
I suppose I could have Chitterwitched him, but it wouldn't have done any good.
you could have sacked him. He would have been in the graveyard. Maybe there's some spicy reanimation in there. I don't
think there's much in here, if I remember correctly.
I will play Sungrass Prairie as my land for turn here.
Hey,
Boy.
I know that card. I've been staring
This
at
deck
it.
doesn't really care about graveyard, it cares about exile.
So there's Voidbeck. What does Cathrall say? When it enters the battlefield, flying counter on any creature you control. If there's a card near flying, repeat this process for blah 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 blah. But then put a +1 counter on Catherine for each. So Catherine would be a 4/4 with Death Touch, huh? That doesn't seem that good.
Does it also have reach? No, it only counts for the
No,
graveyards.
It's just in the graveyard. Yeah, I need.
Hmm.
Need a black mana source, kids. Exile Nyxweaver to get this swamp. That feels bad.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, that does.
All
Watch
right.
your cat. Oh, the cat.
Having a heck of a
Almost
time with
lost.
that cat tonight.
My cat is
Yeah.
sadly sleeping. So you know what? We'll just start pushing this game along. I'll cast a Predatory Impetus targeting Elsha. So
First
she
of
gets
all,
+3/+3 and must be blocked with a if able and is goaded.
oh yeah, I like that.
So
Alright.
you got a big Elsha and she want to hit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Goad, actually.
Yeah, me too. Goes one of my
That's a cool
favorite
mechanic.
mechanics of the recent year.
Cool.
I guess since I'm not blocking with this bad boy, I'll clock Jeremy for 2 with a spider.
I suppose I will take 2.
That will pass.
First blood. All right.
Right. I should have been
Last
attacking
blood.
him, but I didn't.
Yeah. All right. So Jeremy and everybody, does the offer still stand to Cascade? Because if it does, I'm gonna take
Oh
it.
yeah,
Absolutely. Go
Find
for
a
it, man.
land.
do it.
That would have been amazing if it was the first one.
There we go. We got there.
3 down. So
Yeah.
Enduring Scale Lord and Wild Beastmaster going to the bottom.
All right.
Hooray! There we go. Playing that land for turn.
Bam.
Yay.
It's amazing.
Spell.
Yeah.
In this game.
Yeah. I think. I don't even know.
Flame a Cultivate. Did they print it in this one? I don't remember.
They did, but I'm gonna use this one to get my green-white. Tap this for green. And play Heronblade Elite. Has vigilance, and when another human enters the battlefield under your control, I put a +1/+1 counter on it, and I can tap it to add mana, X mana of any color where X is Heronblade Elite's power. Pass.
That's like
It's
Dire
pretty
Sword.
good.
Remember? Yeah, I was gonna say this is like
Yeah,
a
this,
ball
I mean, I
game.
had a ramp,
Better.
I had a ramper in my hand. I was like, oh, surely I'll get another land in the first 5 turns.
You're back, baby.
Uh-huh.
Yep, back in this thing.
Indeed.
And you're all done?
Yes, I am all done.
So I can't find what I was looking for. I'm sure it's somewhere, but I have a Paradox Engine masterpiece signed by the Rules Committee.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That's sweet.
Let's see.
So you're
Oh,
saying
excuse
that's
me.
not getting unbanned anytime soon?
I mean, it might. I don't know.
There you go.
I'm not in the room. I'm not in the room where it happens, as it were.
There you go. There you go. There's the sound. There's the sound bite. Clip it. It might.
And lots of things might. You know? Who knows? There's so many people that are like unban balance, and you're like,
I know.
have you
No.
ever played against balance?
No.
Yeah,
do
or
not
unban
unban
Or
that.
Or
Don't do that.
Tolarian Academy. Like,
Yes.
excuse me? Like,
Shocking.
Tolarian Academy. I've played with this card a lot. Like, a lot. This is the deck that I play in Canadian Highlander.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't belong anywhere near this format.
No, my god.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. Everybody has their pet card that they wish they could be naughty with on the ban list, but
Sure.
they're there for a reason.
What's yours, Rachel?
What's
I know.
mine?
Yeah, I have one for sure.
I mean, these days Paradox Engine.
I
But
want
I hate it
Panoptic
playing
Mirror.
against Panoptic Mirror is sweet, yeah.
I want Panoptic
I-
Mirror off the ban list.
That's the one that I like want to play with. I mean, Paradox Engine is like so fun. Like
That
I
card
get
is sweet.
why
It's-
it's
yeah.
fun to play with, but
card
is
also playing
sweet.
against it is a nightmare.
Yeah, the card
I
is
would
sweet though.
I would love to play with Primeval Titan. I would
Yeah.
love that.
Prime time.
Also, So would everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Notably,
Yes.
you know what else you get to play in Canadian Highlander with Tolarian Academy? Paradox Engine and Upheaval.
Good
Gross.
lord.
That
Oh my
deck plays
gosh.
all 3 of those cards. It's like a who's who of the Commander ban list.
Justin Havoc says Biorhythm
Yeah.
is
Oh,
their
yeah.
card.
Biorhythm's fine. You can play it right now if you want it. It's on
Is
a
that
creature, right?
Yeah, I've lost to that creature a couple of times actually.
Yeah.
It's in Joe Johnson's what's her name?
Sithis?
The Naya Untapper.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
With all the keywords on it, gets stuff haste.
Oh, yeah.
Samus.
Got like Samut. It's in his Samut deck, so it has haste when it comes down, and he plays
Yep.
a lot of mana doublers. I've lost to it a number of times. So Biorhythm would be lethal, but it's also like,
I think it's
there's
fine.
lots of win counts.
Jeremy.
Probably fine.
Jeremy, you've known me. You've known how I play EDH for a long time, and arguably what deck I'm most known for in
Windgrace.
in my personal life. What's the card do you think that I want unbanned?
I don't know. You're requiring me to think?
Oh, right. All right. I'll help you out. It's Fast Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That makes
Jeremy,
sense.
I'm attacking you for 5 commander damage with Elsha.
Yep.
6 actually. She gets +3/+3.
Plus 3, plus 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, 6. Let's do it.
Alright, I will take 6 commander damage.
And I think with that, I'm gonna pass the turn.
Right.
She has prowess too. This was great. These impetuses are so fun.
Yeah, I like impetus and the vows too. That's why.
Vows
Have you
are
seen?
really-
Vows are cool.
Have you seen my jellyfish child? Oh man.
Oh, it's so good. I haven't seen your list yet. I saw the
Oh.
beginnings when you had like 3 cards in it.
Yeah, I haven't done much since then. I'm playing Lycids and I'm playing the vows and the impetuses
Sick.
and
Nice.
what else? Assault suit is another
Nice.
one. I'm gonna start passing stuff around.
Jim, this sounds like my Corona deck.
Yeah, I had a Corona deck like that too. That's why I immediately
Such
thought
a
about
mess.
Assault Suit. I love Corona Assault Suit.
So I'll play
Such
this
an
swamp
incredible mess. I
from
love it.
exile, which will
Bing.
create a treasure token.
Make treasure. Nice.
So lots of mana.
Yep.
To do lots of fun things. So I think first thing I'm gonna do is get the cat out of the way before he comes on the table again.
Wants to be fed.
That
That's what
cat
it
is
is.
safe.
Oh,
Safety
that's exactly what he wants.
What's your cat's name?
His name is Aphid.
Cute.
Nice.
It's after the insect aphid,
Ah,
because I
what I
have
figured.
an older cat named Ladybug.
Aw.
And
Spawn of
I
the
got
devil.
aphid as basically a toy for Ladybug, and I figured ladybugs eat aphids, so that's a fitting name.
That's so cute.
Says the guy with a PhD.
Yes.
You have
No.
a bug PhD?
PhD in genetics, actually.
It's almost bugs.
Yeah, it was human
Bio,
genetics,
etc.
diabetes, and cardiovascular research, so close.
Closer.
It's biology related.
It's all science.
So I'm gonna tap the Arcane Signet and the Soul Ring, floating a colorless, to cast Dead Man's Chest on Elsha.
Ooh,
Mm.
What?
sweet.
So when an enchanted creature dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its owner's library. I may cast spells from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and I may use mana of any color to cast them.
Seems good.
I don't think I appreciate everybody piling up on Elsha. Don't mistake that for me doing anything about it. I'm just gonna sit and stew.
Understandable. So that resolves.
You got it.
All
Oh
right.
man.
It's gonna get even better, so I'm gonna follow that up. 2 black, 1, 2,
And Dewblade. Oh no.
and 3. Better. For a Dance Macabre, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. And then roll a
Oh.
d20 and add the toughness of the creature you sacrifice in this way.
Each player sacrifices a non-token creature. Roll a d20 and add the toughness of the creature you sacked in this way. Okay, so it's
And
an
then I can-
edict that with a reanimation on it. See, I knew you had reanimation in here.
I'm going to respond to that.
Oh.
Oh, I don't like that.
I would like to cast Leadership Vacuum to return Elsha to my hand.
Yoink.
Wow.
Predatory
Alright.
impetus falls off. And
So does
goes
Dead
to
Man's
the
Chest.
And I will
Yep.
sacrifice my poor Nyx Weaver.
I'll sacrifice the Direfleet Daredevil.
I'm going to sacrifice my only hope.
Oh no.
And we each do
Actually,
we
do I
each
wanna-
roll?
Sacrifice that one?
No.
No,
no,
just I do.
Jeremy
Okay.
rolls.
Okay.
Do I want to do this one? What instance or sorceries do you guys have in your graveyards?
Leadership Vacuum.
Of course.
And that's it.
I have all creatures.
I have just Absent Charms. So it's exile a creature with power 3 or greater. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, or you distribute 2+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures.
Yep.
It's white, black, green.
All right. Actually, in that case, I'm gonna destroy the Chittering Witch.
Not a rat.
Okay.
Is it
Because
not? It's non-token.
It's non-token.
Got it.
Mm.
Okay.
All right. So roll a d20. That's a 20. So I
Wow.
will add the 2. So 15 or greater. Return up to 2 target creatures from the put into the graveyard in this way on the battlefield under my control.
Very good. Oh, so you get
Okay. So you could get. Hold on. So you could get Heron Blade or the Nyx Weaver.
Weaver.
Let's see.
Or your Chittering Witch, right?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
my battery died on my camera. Give me 1 sec,
Oh.
folks.
Yes, it did.
Yep. It did indeed.
Give me a sec. I gotta plug it in.
Commander RC. Hello.
I will take
Hi, guys.
the Chittering Witch and the Heron Blade Elite.
Of course you will.
Spider not good enough for you? It
I
isn't, you're right.
mean, the things in the graveyard I don't think really help me all that much for the most part in this deck.
Now you want casting stuff from exile.
Yeah.
So yes. Fun times.
So,
Anyway,
one-
while Jim is working on his camera battery situation, Rachel, I'll follow up with the final question since we have a moment here while he's working on that. It says the final question here is would the RC CAG, shout out to y'all in the chat by the way, be willing to partner with small or large creators to work together on a series of topics to help understand the basics of the format. For example, you could foster conversations between folks, small folks like us or a larger creator or whatever of like how to rule 0 or discuss power level or whatever, those types of things in an effort to streamline those pregame anxiety roadblocks. I know that you had specifically mentioned earlier that some of your things, some of the things that you obviously like to do as a content creator is try to help make the game more fun and help people kind of understand that side of things. So I'm interested to hear your take on that.
So obviously can't make a commitment for
Yeah,
the
of
rules
course,
committee or
of course,
the,
of course.
commander advisory group to anything specifically, but yes, I absolutely think that there is and there should be a partnership between the rules committee and the commander advisory group and content creators in sort of getting on the same page about the format. I think being able to clearly express what the rules committee's intentions are and what their priorities are and how to have a successful Rule 0 conversation are all important things that we want to get, especially large content creators, on the same page. Because obviously you're reaching more players.
Sure.
So it's very exciting when like I Hate Your Deck started doing on-camera pre-game conversations, because
Yes.
like regardless of how they're executed, or it just sets a standard for people to be like, okay, this is a thing that we should be doing to improve our games. And the better we can instruct content creators like I Hate Your Deck and other smaller creators or podcasters or whatever, in how that conversation is supposed to happen, the better our message gets communicated to the populace at large. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think content creators are the Rules Committee and the Commander Advisory Group's best tool of communication for spreading things like philosophy and like, suggestions on how a game should look and how, how to build a healthy play group for yourself, and your friends. I just think that's important message for the Rules Committee to get out, and that we're using content creators to reach people, and then using those people to reach their friends is sort of our best pipeline of communication. Okay. Sorry, I got lost a little bit in the middle there. I was up very late last night and have not recovered.
That's perfectly fine. No,
understandable.
You bring up a good point, because obviously, the reach of somebody like, let's use the apples and oranges conversation. A reach of somebody like, say, myself, who has a YouTube channel of a couple hundred subscribers, is a small streamer that doesn't, I haven't reached the next level on Twitch yet, because I don't get 100 people tuning into my stream all the time, right? Obviously, the reach of somebody like me versus the reach of somebody like I Hate Your Deck, or with Lynch and even Josh Lee Kwai and Jimmy's channel over there. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop. Like, I bring these people up. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name drop. But obviously, I'm just gonna say, Command Zone. There you go. Obviously, they're Giant or Prof even. Those types of channels obviously reach a significantly larger base of people, and having the similarity between, or the consistency, I guess I should say, between when you tune into a game of I Hate Your Deck, or you tune into a game of Command Zone, or you tune into a game on the Create Commander channel here. If we're all having a pre-game conversation, we all decide, hey, this time we're talking about new creators, we're going to play precon since that's an entryway to the format, that sort of thing. Like, all these things are happening behind the scenes for us, but we can forefront them for people to where they're understanding, okay, why would we do that? And I think Jim brought it up earlier, was, yes, except for within the past year here, I would say that we've had some really good precon commander decks come out in the last year, as we're seeing over here with Rat Boy. But there was a bunch of decks that came out in the past year that were pretty good. But still, they're precons. You can kind of everybody's got access to the deck list. Everybody kind of knows what they could expect, or they can look up the deck list and be like, okay, the Lathril deck plays elves. That's what it does. That sort of thing. So, us as content creators, if I could use the words and get them out of my mouth, can use these as kind of like that middle ground, to where it's like, okay, Jim, I don't, trying to not knowing you, well, I don't really know what kind of power you have. Obviously, I've watched the Spike Feeders, I kind of understand. Rachel, I've played against you before, and I've had my face smashed in by your ooze deck. So, that's, I as far as me knowing you guys, that's, or you folks, I should say, that's one thing. But for anybody else out there watching, they may not. And I think precons is a great way for people to understand how to enter the format. We can have this kind of discussion and help people understand it's okay to ask people, regardless of play experience, hey, do you guys just want to jam a precon game? Because it's perfectly fine, and it's fun, and playing, if you get to play a commander game, whether it's a precon game or not, the whole purpose behind it is so that you have fun time with your friends, and
Yeah,
that's what I hope to facilitate here tonight. Jim, we moved on to the last question that we had talked about beforehand, and that was what the RCCAG could do as far as how can y'all use us as content creators to help understand the basics of the format, like how to rule zero, discuss power levels, and streamline any of the pregame anxiety roadblocks.
Yeah, I think that honestly, one of the main reasons why I got into content creation is that it's a lot more effective to show people things than tell people things, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our motivations came from wanting to show people that CDH can be fun. We can do it in a social environment. We can, play powerful cards without being antisocial jerks about it, And I think that there's a lot of that involved where if you want to be a positive force in the community, then I think you don't even need the rules committee or CAG involvement. Just start modeling the behavior that you want to see. If you think that if everybody in the community started acting the way that you're acting today, would the community be better than it is today or worse? And just keep asking yourself that question, and you want to push it each time. Next time, be a little bit better. Next time, be a little bit better. Be happy, be excited, get people excited to play Magic, right? If you are the person that people want to play Magic against, then you're accomplishing exactly what you should be accomplishing if you want to move the community in a positive direction.
Yes. And there's definitely ways, and I think Jeremy, I'll ping this one off of you, because I definitely believe that there's ways that even if you're not playing the most quote-unquote popular deck with a lot of people, Jeremy and I haven't had the luxury of, he hasn't felt the wrath of my Turgid deck yet.
I'm looking forward to that.
But I felt the wrath of his Golos deck many times, and his was a Golos extra turns deck. The point that not a lot of people know is I don't like extra turns. I never have. I've never been that kind of fan, but that was the deck that he wanted to build, and he had a lot of fun doing it and all this other kind of stuff. So what do we do? As friends, we want to make sure that they are also having a good time too. So while it might not have been the most fun thing for me, that's not the point. I had a good time playing my deck, and I wanted to make sure that he was having a good time playing across the table from me. So even if it's not my most favorite thing, I would much rather play a game and spend time with him as my friend playing Magic than not.
Star-crossed lovers, alike in dignity on fair spell table where we say
right. Exactly. So
yes.
Exactly. But in all seriousness, though, I think that we can all take a lot from just wanting other people to enjoy themselves, have fun, and just play the deck that they want to play. Because sometimes you get to play I don't know what this is, a Juniper Order Ranger. I've never played this card in my life, but whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. And okay, so it's Cathar's Crusade, and it makes this bigger. That seems dumb. I would like to play that sometime. That would be a big cool card that I would like to play. I would like to see Jeremy play it, or Jim, or Rachel, or whoever. So, we can all, as creators, I think we can help you guys as the RCCAG hopefully foster a more fun environment, not just one that's focusing so much about winning all the time. Because I think when people get lost in the winning, that's when the game itself gets lost and it becomes a competition.
Yeah. And piggybacking off of what you said earlier about your Turgid deck or my Golos deck, when I play, I love just watching decks pop off. Whether it's my deck or someone else's deck, I don't care. I think that is awesome. They're having fun with their deck. That's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes Magic fun for me.
Cool.
I think I'm on a weird crusade against this right now, but I think we really need to remove the concept of fun from our conversation about Commander, because no matter what power level you're playing, no matter what deck you're playing Magic because you think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Legacy, pro players are playing because it's fun and it's also their job, but it's because they love playing Magic. So, but I really want to focus on what I really want people to try to be as players and as content creators is to be focused on having people meet the kind of players they want to play against. You know, like it's because everybody's gonna have fun under different conditions. So trying to step away from like judgmental or objective terms like fun and getting closer to terms that are like more concrete and descriptive. So talking about like my deck is extremely interactive. It has a lot of interruption pieces, or it's a little bit more battle cruiser where it takes a lot of permanence to be on the board. Because fun doesn't necessarily describe anything.
Sure.
So I think that's a valuable thing for us to get away from as content creators, is to stop talking about like, oh, we want commander decks to be fun. Because that, you know, my idea of fun is making infinite ooze tokens or not infinite, just a lot. I don't know.
Yes, many of them, and smashing my face with them.
Yeah, because it's sweet. But
Definitely smash Brandon's face with all the oozes you can. Yeah. I'm on board for that.
Oh Lord.
It's also like, but I also understand that not everybody's in for an infinite mana storm deck. It takes a little bit of time for me to get through the turns. There's very complicated lines, and it's not necessarily like always a fun deck to sit across from. But getting used to the idea that a game of Commander is a social experience, which means it's a compromise.
Yes.
Not every second of it is going to be a blast. Not every second of it is going to be perfect for you. But understanding that like you have an expectation of the game, and your opponent has an expectation of the game, and you want those expectations to be met.
Right.
And that's what having like a pregame conversation should be about, is like, what are your expectations for the game that's about to happen? How many turns do we expect? How many tutors do we expect? How much interaction should I expect? Or like make sure that I have to interact with your deck. Setting expectations rather than own, I think is going to be helpful in getting people on the same page. So,
excellent. Yeah. Well, that was excellent. So,
yes.
Thank you all for entering into that conversation. Infinite Tokens loves your Matt, Rachel, and says that
I love that Matt too.
Fun is subjective. It absolutely is. And Vazson says doing broken things is fun. Not gonna lie, it is. It really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
magic's fun, and the more magic you get to play, the more fun it is.
That's why I like taking extra turns, because I got to play more Magic.
Exactly. That's why fun is. I don't know. I'm so tired of people using fun as a weapon against each other.
It's a really generic term at this point. I think it's a really generic, maybe even overused term at this point. That's probably and I probably didn't really feed into that as much as I probably should have. So you're right. I mean, maybe a different adjective. Yeah, it's a different adjective that we can probably come up with. But like you said, setting goals in the pregame discussion that is Rule 0 is the easiest way for us as either content creators, y'all, just us as players right now, to be able to say, hey, this is kind of what we should expect. When we're sitting down playing these precons, we're not expecting infinite lines. We're not expecting, somebody to all of a sudden whip out a vampiric tutor or something like that and tutor for the best piece that they have. We're just sitting down and playing the cards that come to us because, hey, some of us haven't even played these decks before, and it's just, we're just doing it for the heck of it. But to your credit, I think one thing that we definitely need to, that we could have done better, even in this situation, and I'll admit fault on this one, is when we went live, we could have had a more constructive conversation. I think Jim kind of wrapped it up kind of eloquently here, how we were just typing back and forth and, kind of came to the idea of precon thing. But yeah, it was, when you're when you're
If-
having those conversations, it's like the couple of the biggest things that for me I want to hear, and I'd like to hear y'all. I mean, eventually somebody's gonna have to finish their turn here, but
Yeah, eventually I'd like to go to combat.
no, you played in a Tali, you're dead to me.
But I didn't get to do anything with it.
That was last turn.
Exactly.
But the couple of things that I always like to ask about, and Jim and Rachel, you obviously have experienced this before, in even maybe our pregame conversations leading up before this one, was a couple of things that I always like to ask about are fast mana, tutors, and infinite lines that are like, hey, are you playing Oracle Consult, or the two card combos that are that come out of nowhere kind of thing, or are you playing like I think Jeremy and we played a game last week against Ash and Lexi, and Michael's deck, I admitted, had a line in it that was the top Bolus of Citadel and Aetherflux combo. Well, first, it's expensive, and it's 3 cards to put together. And then the other line in it was like 5 cards, and it included the commander. So it was really expensive. But having that discussion beforehand was extremely important, because we didn't want to all of a sudden, me being in the middle of a game, be like, oh, hey, everybody, Aether Bomb, y'all dead. Like, that's not the kind of example that we want to set. So, I think I could have done probably a better job, and I'll admit that as a failing here. That I probably could have done a better job at showing the pregame conversation that we did have, even though we had a majority of it via Messenger. So
I mean, I think deciding to all play precons is a pretty clear expectation.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We got so a couple other comments came in. Etria says, as a person whose favorite archetypes are stacks and control, I wish the conversation was more regular, and they take joy in making things difficult for pods, but of course, that's an acquired taste. If you don't want to play against it, just tell me, and don't explain to this particular commenter that the way they like to play is unfun. So yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is you need to be able to have the type of conversation and be honest. That's the biggest thing, is just be honest. Be like, okay, you know what? If you're gonna play Winter Orb and Stasis and all that other kind of stuff, if you don't finish me off by the time I am capable of untapping, I'm gonna try and kill you, right? Like, have those kinds of honest conversations. Let's just be real about it, But don't tell, Etria here that because they like to play rule of law, that what they like, or what they particularly like is bad magic. So so anyway, Jeremy, I guess I'll let you go to combat.
All right. With that, I will move to combat, and I will
We did try to filibuster this combat, though.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send 2 damage at each of you.
Okay. 2
Getting
damage.
that prosper damage. That sweet prosper damage.
Yeah, that prosper damage. Prosper's going at Brandon, so y'all each have 1 prosper damage.
There you go.
There we go.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna kill you with prosper.
There you go. Justin says, I feel like sometimes you just have to have the nuts and can win really fast, and I really don't think people realize how little that happens, and I also think people have a problem with losing. That's true. I think a lot of people associate losing with failing in this particular format or game or what have you. And losing, some of my most favorite games since the pandemic has even started have been games that I've lost. Jeremy and I got our butts handed to us by Sheldon Menery.
Oh, that was
one
awesome.
of
That
my
was such a fun
favorite
game,
games.
though. Man, that was so much fun.
Oh, it was a blast. But and I lost a game because I was playing my Brawl and Shabraz deck, and I decked myself because I was drawing cards in response to what somebody else was doing.
Nice.
It was actually Chain of Commander. Shout out to Billy. I lost to his Tuvasa deck because he would do something, I would respond to it, draw a bunch of cards, and then I got down to the bottom and I was like, wait, Where's my shuffle effect? Oh no, it's been exiled. Well, I'm dead. Like, it was no joke, like a 15-minute stack of responses and a whole bunch of other kind of stuff. I lost the game, but it was fun. So you can have a lot of fun even if you lose. You just gotta, it's all dependent upon how you look at it, and how you look at, you know, how you evaluate your own game. But Jeremy, second main. Sorry, buddy.
Nothing's gonna happen in my second main, so I will pass to Rachel and exile Rakdos Charm to Prosper.
Oh, that's not dangerous at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. I only get it for a turn. Only until the end of my next turn.
This is... Oh boy, I would really like to hit a land drop in the near future. This feels like a real nombo with my commander. Or no, I can't even cast it. What am I talking about? Ugh. Okay. Really do need to draw a land at some point. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna play Cathril.
Cool.
And I have Reach and I have Death Touch in my graveyard. So it has Reach and Death Touch and gets 2 plus 1 counters.
In response to that, I think I'm not gonna let that happen.
Oh no.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna cast crack a treasure and tap the mountain and cast Rakdos Charm to exile your graveyard, Rachel.
Jeremy.
Or sorry, yeah, all cards from your
Okay.
graveyard.
Jeremy.
I will get a 3/3.
She has a guest, you punk.
That's okay. It's I love my 5-mana 3/3. I feel good about it. I'll pass. I
Oh.
was just talking about missing land drops. I can't cast half my hand. That's fine.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Everybody, we have established that Jeremy is a problem. All right, here we go. Draw this card. Hey, what do you
Would
know?
like to win.
Forest. A forest. What do you know? That is crazy.
Speaking of having fun while losing, I was watching a game fairly recently with Olivia Gilbert-Hicks, and she was playing an Enchantress deck. And her goal, she said from the very beginning, her goal was to deck herself. And she did. And that she wasn't trying to win. She was literally trying to lose. Her goal was to deck herself.
Oh,
That
I played
deck-
against this deck. Have you?
That
Jim?
deck makes some people furious. Holy,
It's-
the YouTube comments come out in full force.
It's
I don't
very
doubt
fun.
that.
Okay.
But that was fun to watch, and she had a blast doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's Enchantress at its best, right?
Yup.
It's just all triggers and no win con. That's how you enchant.
Paying 1 into the prairie for the green and white, so white, white, green, green for Audric, Master Tactician. First strike, bunch of other text that doesn't matter because I don't have anything else to play with him. So there it is. But I did make a land drop, so yay, pass. Let's see. Catching up on chat here, feel like Commander in some aspects has gotten to the point where people just want to see their deck do the thing forever and never actually end the game. Yeah, the ending the game, spoiler alert, is I am trying to do something hopefully in the near future about ending the game, so keep your eyes peeled on my Twitter for that. Etchery says hitting land drops is hard. I assume that was for Rachel. It
That was
isn't.
for me.
It
Yeah.
was in. It is indeed. Yeah. And Atraxa Enchantress is a work of art. Atraxa Enchantress.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Olivia's
Yeah,
deck,
that
yeah.
was it. That was the Olivia's deck.
Oh, that's Olivia's deck. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I played a Tuvasa Enchantress deck, and I can only imagine adding another color to that would be disgusting.
Pretty sweet.
Go
You all
ahead,
done there,
Jim.
Brandon?
Go ahead, just.
I will draw a card. I will play a command tower.
Nice.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh
I
dear.
think I'm going to cast Zatalpa Primal Dawn.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That is a difficult to deal with magic card.
Yes.
Especially in decks that don't have swords built into them.
Don't worry about it. I will pass the turn.
Yeah,
Jim
I
says,
think
"Don't worry
my
about it."
one
Oh
answer for
my.
that is now in my graveyard, in my exile, so...
Don't worry about it.
I want to get Dance Macabre back and cast that, so you have to sacrifice it, please.
Yeah.
There you
Probably,
go.
probably nothing will come of it. It's really
Yeah.
it's impossible to say.
Talpa, too broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so I still want to do this pod somewhere. I want to do the most reprinted commanders off with Zatalpa and Talrand, Bosch,
treasure
and
from that.
man, there was one more that we thought of. Oh no! Oh, Geth. They keep reprinting Geth.
Mm-hmm.
So just these overcosted commanders that show up in every precon and
Yep.
do a pod with all of them. I think it'd be really fun.
I
Obviously, Talrand is
absolutely
a little
love.
over.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is kind of spell slingery, Talrand. This has more.
Talrand-
This has more than 5 instants in it, Talrand. Like,
Talrand would be pretty OP in that pod, I think, but it would be fun.
it
Bosch
would.
can do some serious work if it's optimized, though.
Yes. Who? Drawing a blank. I've seen somebody play a Bosch. Oh, Command Zone. Ashlyn.
Ashlyn has a Bosch deck, yes.
Yes, she played a Bosch deck on that. It was good. Etria wants to know everyone's favorite Neon Dynasty spoiler so far.
Dog.
Frog.
The dog, the 2-mana dog.
Oh,
is
the
my
dog.
favorite.
The dog. Yes.
Yeah, the doggish. I can't think of anything right now. But yes, the 1 in a white ETB stress card. I think that's exactly the kind of cards I want to see printed in white. It's going to be cheap. It's going to be like, it's just a good sort of floor card for white to have, which is great.
Pretty
Mine
cool.
is my jellyfish child.
For sure.
The reality chip. It's not particularly close. This is the first time I've been excited about a commander in well over 5 years. And I'm
Wow.
not
that makes
exaggerating
me
about
sad.
Wow. Ouch.
Well, okay, so I should qualify that. This is not typically the way that I build decks. I don't like look at a commander and say I want to build a deck around that.
Mhm.
I usually like think of something that I want to do in Magic, and then I build a commander deck to allow me to do it. So usually the commander is the last piece of the puzzle. I'll start with the deck and I'll say, okay, this is what I want to do. What colors do I need to be able to do that? So I'll say, like, the most recent deck that I built was it was a fling deck. It was a 4-color fling deck. And so I'm like, okay, well, I've got a fling, so I need red and white because I want to play Brian Stoutarm. I need like I don't know. I also want to play stuff that would be good to fling. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to play red because of ball lightnings, and then there's a bunch of ball lightnings. There's one in green, it's called Groundbreaker, and there's one in black, it's Lightning Skelemental. There's one in white, that's Spark Trooper, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to build a non-blue fling deck. It also ends up in me building a lot of partner decks, but yeah, very, very rare that I'll look at a commander and say I want to build a deck around that. But the reality chip has my gears going because it has so many words on the type line, and they're all in a pretty hilarious order, so
Yeah.
I'm building it.
I love that you build casual decks like CDH decks. You build WinCon first. There's still casual decks, but you build WinCon first, which is backwards for casual. It's great.
Yeah, it's like not the way that anybody. So
No,
you know
it's
what?
great.
You know what's funny about that? You know that Lich deck that I played against you in
Yeah, of
Vegas?
course.
That was part of a cycle of casual decks that I built around competitive win conditions. So that one was Aetherflux Reservoir.
Yeah.
I also built an ad nauseum deck that plays 65 lands. So you ad nauseum, and then you just draw like 50 cards, and most of them are lands, and then you play Seismic Assault, and you just throw them at people until they die.
I heard you talking about this deck.
Yeah.
That sounds
in your really
amazing.
great on the video you released with
Yep.
that's so good.
And
I can't
then
think of the name of the video, but it's where you do post a link or something because everyone should watch it.
I also built a Derevi mill deck.
Sick.
So it uses Derevi's untap triggers to untap like millstone and grinding stone and keening stone. And then I also built my Riku Flash Hulk deck, which I still play even though Flash is banned now. And it uses Flash Hulk to get all of the 0-drop creatures in the game.
Played
And
against this one too,
Perforos.
yeah.
And so they just all enter at the same time and it just donks everybody for like 25. It doesn't like kill people most of the time, but it does a lot of damage. And then the last one that I built was it was a Jaleva Storm deck, but I didn't want to do real Storm, so I did Grave Storm instead, and it's Zombie Travel.
Sick.
So it uses Zombie Travel with Rooftop Storm.
Love
So,
that.
yeah. Anyway, it was a whole cycle of decks.
I think it's hilarious. Obviously, the jellyfish is pretty awesome. Obviously, you can take that with Sensei's Top and like Ethereum Sculptor and go burr, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jin Gitaxis is, to answer the question, Jin Gitaxis is pretty cool. I think it's going to be pretty awesome as a nice piece in a 99. But for me, probably one of my most favorite cards about this one was probably either, shocker for anybody who follows the channel at all, it's two of the green cards. It's going to be either Kadama the West Tree, that cares about the modified creatures, or what's the thing? The turtle. Kappa Tech Wrecker. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Got the ninjutsu for 1 and a green, enters battlefield with death touch counter, so it's already modified technically. And whenever it deals combat damage, you may remove a death touch counter from it. When you do, you can exile a target artifact or enchantment that player controls. So yeah, free remove the death touch counter thing, exile, their best artifact and enchantment. It just seems kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably either Kodama or Kappa Tech Wrecker is mine.
For me, honestly, I haven't really been following the spoilers a whole lot, but I'm intrigued by the Tamio completed Sage, just for the dual color Phyrexian mana. I never thought they would bring back Phyrexian mana, much less have it dual color, so I'm excited about that. I think Phyrexian mana, while it's degenerate and nasty, is fun for me.
Yes, you do like paying life for things, Jeremy.
I do. It's a resource. Use it. Alright, so I am going to move through my main phase. Actually, real quick, I had a question.
Oh no.
So if a creature's toughness were to go to 0, that gets around indestructible, correct?
It does.
It do.
I figured that was the case.
Ooh. Is Witch gonna put in some work?
Very well could. But first, I'm going to move to attack. And Brandon,
Yes.
I'm going to send...
Gonna swing into my first striker?
I think so.
Okay, fine.
I think I'm going to send 6 rats your way.
6 rats?
6 rats.
Just ones?
Just one ones.
Alright.
I assume one of them dies.
I mean, do I take the bait? I mean, you've got the mana. You could kill it if you wanted to. Yeah, I'll block one of the rats.
Alright. One of them dies.
Alright, so I'll still take 5.
Yeah. Actually, no. Before combat. Or
Nope.
before damage.
Before damage, okay.
I will sacrifice that one that you block and ping Zatalpa for 2.
It's -2, Yeah.
-2, yes.
I'll put 2 -1/-1 counters on it.
And
Or is this is just till end of turn? It's not counters.
just till the end of turn.
Yeah,
Okay.
till end of turn.
And yeah, might as well keep it going. do that again. Another -2/-2. Another -2/-2 on it. It needs one more, right? That's 6. Okay. Yep. And I will do that one more time.
Will
And
warn you, my retribution will be swift and merciless.
I hope so. I really do.
Ugh,
Please,
justice
please
for
get back at
Zatalpa.
me.
Yeah.
Please get back at me. That would make me happy.
Can we get some F's in chat for my elder dinosaur friend who
Yes.
had one day left until retirement?
Yeah. Oh.
So did my elder dinosaur.
Yeah.
Etria
What a good day
says.
for elder dinosaurs.
Etria says they like cards like Trinisphere, Sphere of Resistance, stuff like that. Yeah, and in certain particular decks, like ones that are going to be more mid-rangey decks or what have you, I can certainly see a reason to play those. You just gotta, if you're going to play that kind of stuff, and you're like, hey, there's a Trinisphere in here. This is definitely a mid-range deck that doesn't even get really started until X. Like Rurik Thar, I've seen that in that deck, or that sort of thing. Like,
Real quick,
okay.
I will pass. And exile, share the spoils to prosper. That's going to be a fun card. I'm looking forward to that one.
Land.
gonna be a
It's
really fun
colorless, but a land it is. And untapped. We're gonna play it. Then we're gonna pay 6, and we're gonna cast Dead Bridge Chant. I'm gonna mill 10 cards. 1, 2, all lands, please. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, there's the
9,
Card Hawk.
10. So I milled the Majestic Myriarch, Iron Wanderer, Acidic Slime, Together Forever, Cartographer's Hawk, and Selective Adaptation. So we'll build your own graveyard. That's all I got. I'll pass.
All right.
Triggers at my upkeep.
Triggers at upkeep. Awesome. Okay. Drawing this card. This specific one. All right. Can I do anything at all? That is the question. Yeah.
Could you do anything? That's a different question.
Could I do anything? Yes. I can, and I shall, so I'll tap that. And that for 3 mana for a Stalwart Pathfinder. Has Vigilance. At the beginning of combat on my turn, if I control 3 or more creatures with different powers, creatures I control gain indestructible until end of turn. Unfortunately, Odric and Stalwart are both 3s, so hooray. And let's see, do I have... Let's see, Jeremy, you have blockers. Darn it.
Have blockers.
Why not? Jim, since I want to make an impact on this game, I'm going to swing 3 first strike at you.
My retribution will be...
Swift and merciless.
Yeah, I'll take 3.
Perfect.
But
Eh.
slightly less swift and slightly less merciless
Yeah,
than
I have a
Jeremy.
Jeremy. I have a Jeremy to kill first. Then I'll
Okay.
get to you, Brandon.
I think everyone has me to kill first. I still think that I've got a big target on my back from all 3 of you at this point.
Yes. That is it for me. You can
Okay.
go kill Jeremy now, please.
I'll untap. I'll draw a card. Let's see.
I like being the arch enemy on occasion.
Oh, okay. Justin, favorite win con is Kiki Jiki Zealous, or basically anything that untaps Kiki. Okay, I can get on board with that. That is,
Yeah.
I love Kiki Jiki lines. Don't play them as often as I probably should, though.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Am I 1 mana short?
No,
What are we doing if we're gonna? It's getting late, right?
it
Yeah.
is.
I'm gonna tap my Commander Sphere for 1 white mana.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna sacrifice it to hopefully make my land drop.
Cool.
Oh, I'm the smartest man alive. Oh no, I'm not. Never mind. I'll play this. Is it Gilgate tapped because
Oh,
precon
no.
mana bases.
Oh. Okay.
That hurts.
Rule zeroing. That's an OG duel now.
I was very briefly the smartest man alive. Let's see. I'm gonna go with. Okay, I have a white mana floating,
Indeed.
Mhm.
so I guess we'll just cast Elsha.
Okay.
red, blue, 2 colorless Elsha,
I forgot she was in your hand.
and then I'll pass the turn.
All right.
Thanks, Justin. That's very sweet.
I'll untap. Upkeep. Nothing. Triggers now. Draw. Ooh.
Wow,
I can confirm that Rachel rules, and also that Olivia rules.
I have not played against Olivia yet.
She's
Nor
great.
have I.
She's great.
She is-
Super fun.
She is so chaotic and outgoing and fun.
Chaotic
That sounds
is great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's my favorite.
She's
All right. Let's
Also
start the
is not great.
fun.
Get the fun going, Jeremy.
And I'm gonna cast Share the Spoils.
Ooh, I love this card.
Ooh, big fan.
Yeah, it's an
That is
awesome card. So
Put
it
this
enters
in my new red deck.
So when it enters the battlefield, or whenever it enters the battlefield, or an opponent loses the game, exile the top card of each player's library. During each player's turn, that player may play a land or cast a spell from among cards exiled with Share the Spoils. They may spend mana or mana of any color. When they do, exile the top card of their library. Alright, so I will exile a swamp.
Can we talk about how this triggers when it enters the battlefield and when people lose the game?
It's very
Yeah,
weird.
very weird.
bizarre.
Oh,
Very. It's red. I guess. I don't know.
Like,
I hit a Sandstep Citadel.
I had a prairie stream, which would have entered the battlefield untapped.
No, devastating.
No.
Doors of Advocate, very fun.
yes. So I have the Orzhov Advocist.
Ooh, big fan of Orzhov Advocist as well.
Yes.
Noting for Share the Spoils, you only get to cast 1 per turn. That is
Correct.
a lesson we learned.
Yes.
So I'm going to whip out an Infinite Token and make myself an Exile Zone. Sure.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah, I'll
one.
just put mine up here under Share the Spoils up out of the way.
Whoops.
There we go.
Oh.
Shout out to
Nice.
Megan over at Infinite
Spoils
Tokens.
Zone.
That's a good one
That's
too.
interesting.
Let's see. So I made.
Oh, I get a treasure token for playing that from exile. Do I want that?
Do you want it? That's the question.
I think I might.
You should. You should do it.
Yeah, I think I do want that.
All right. Is there a way?
I'm 4 with a lot of text. So it's 3 mana. Let's go ahead and tap those 3 to do it. All right, so when they do exile the okay, so I need to exile another card from my library to share the spoils, and it is Theater of Horrors.
So what did you cast off of the Share
I
the
cast
Spoils?
the Orzhov Advocate.
Oh, okay. So that is no longer in the zone.
No, it is not. It is on my battlefield.
Yeah. Okay.
And Theater of Horrors is exiled to share
All right.
the spoils.
Really like Oracle and casual decks that just draw a lot. Yeah.
That's another card from exile, so I'll get another treasure token. Got a lot of those things now.
I'm really hoping for a blast act just to take Jeremy down a peg.
Yeah, they don't put those in precons.
2.
Of all the precons, it's probably in his.
Yeah, certainly not in mine.
And 2 more for a Gaunty, Lord of Luxury.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Look at
Have
that.
to resolve over camera.
Yeah.
It is. So, let's see. So, Gonti enters. You'll look at the top 4.
Look at the
Target
top 4 cards
opponents.
of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down. Let's see. who do I want to look at?
All right, so for this particular kind of situation here, folks, once we just ask whomever Jeremy chooses, we will just ask the other two players to look away from the screens while the stuff is revealed. Y'all will get to see it. They will get to see it, but the other two players won't.
I think I'm gonna choose Rachel for this.
All right, so Jim and I will just kind of look at another direction.
I will as well, because technically I don't get to see either.
True.
I don't know if this is clear enough.
Just 1 second, I gotta type in. Some of these aren't picking up on.
Oh, here. Do you want me to show them individually?
I think I. Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Which of these two?
And obviously, Jeremy, you can just make a token or
Yeah.
something, put it face down.
Yeah. All right. So the one I'm gonna want is the second from the left.
This
Yes, that one.
guy? Alright. That is out of my deck. The rest shuffled and go on the bottom, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we should be
Okay, we're
good to
good.
look now?
Yep.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna go ahead and cast it. So
Beautiful.
let's see. One.
A slippery bog bonder. I love
Holy
this.
Yep.
crap. Affinity.
Hey.
Thank
Of
you.
its affinity for
Three,
artifacts.
4. And
Stop
I'll make
saying-
myself.
Stop saying nice things about Olivia.
Yeah. She's here.
Except actually, it wasn't
Hey.
Olivia. It was Logan, Ellie, and Missy, and
Logan?
yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Logan.
Hello,
Mish, you're back. Thank you.
Brandon.
Hey,
you should
everybody.
you should
Wow.
let
Yeah,
people
man.
know what we're up to tonight. What your channel's about.
I should, yes. So tonight the stream is specifically about having a wonderful conversation with Jim and Rachel here about how content creators such as myself and anybody else. I'm just gonna say thank you everybody for the follows that are coming in here because I've missed a couple at this point, and I'm very, very sorry about that. But we're just talking about how content creators like Jeremy and I, or smaller creators or larger creators, can work with the RCCAG to be able to foster an environment such as, pushing Rule Zero conversations, talking about it, trying to help newer players learn what to expect and how they can get to their LGSs and have confidence to have these types of conversations. So we've had a couple of great questions and good conversations leading up to this about how we can do that. So if you have any questions for Jim and Rachel while they're here, please throw them in chat. We'll see what we can do about getting them answered. But thank you so much for everybody being here. And let's see. And I have, my goodness.
Who got hexproof off of the bog
Uh,
bonder?
Sorry, Prosper. Prosper got
Prosper, yeah.
hexproof.
All right.
Let's see. Komodo Orca, Chaonic, Firecraft, or Resolve, Corzon. Thank you all so much for the follows. I appreciate it all. And again, obviously, Logan and everybody, thank you so much for raiding in. Appreciate it very much.
And let's see, Brandon.
Hello.
I am gonna send.
No. Don't you do it.
Let's see, what do I want to send at you?
Everything.
Jim, how cold is it tonight? From a question in chat.
It's actually not that bad. It is.
What does that mean in Canada?
So it's minus 11 Celsius. Feels like minus 19.
Oh, that's cold. Holy crap! What do you mean that's not that bad?
It's not that bad.
We got to almost freezing last night in Miami, which is incredibly cold for down here, and I was
So-
miserable.
minus 19 Celsius is minus 2 Fahrenheit.
Pretty cold.
But no, it's like it's been minus 37 for the past
Oh,
4
good.
days.
It's balmy.
That is.
It's actually considerably warmer than it was. Like, for reference, like minus this kind of weather where it's like minus 10, minus 20 is actually not too bad as if you're dressed for it. When it gets to like minus 35 and colder, it's the kind of weather that actually hurts your skin to be outside. And like even if you're used to it, I've lived in this my entire life. Minus 35 and colder is like you're risking extremities being outside too long.
Firecraft in chat. It's 28 degrees right now, Jeremy, in Northern Virginia. We may know a thing or two about that place, huh?
Oh yeah.
So spoiler alert, Jeremy and I grew up in a town about 30 miles south of Washington, D.C., so we know the Nova market, the DMV, fairly well. I'm currently in North Carolina. It's above freezing today, which is excellent, and the reason I'm down in North Carolina, a little bit further south, is I have developed, apparently something happens when you get older, and I've developed some issues with my joints and some things going on with my kidneys and my blood. I'm on medication for it, but yeah, we had snow last 2 weeks ago here, and that's the first time in I think 3 years we've had any accumulation, and literally just taking the time to brush off my car brought me immense pain. So, Jim, I could not imagine living where you live. Hey, Jeremy, they're in Woodbridge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
we're from Manassas, Brentsville. So, there you go.
Yeah, every time I move, I keep moving further south. Next, I gotta move closer to the equator. This is still too cold up here for me.
I was gonna say you darn near in Cuba by now, dude.
Yeah. All right. So Brandon, 5 coming at you.
5 coming at me. All right, I like my creatures. I'm gonna take 5.
All right, and then I'm going to
Wait a second.
pass. Oh,
Wait a second. Hold on. You sacrificed the rat last time, but you still sent 5 to me, so I should have been at 27 the last time, correct? Yes.
Yes.
You sent 6 rats at me and then
Yes.
sacrificed the one that was blocked. Okay, so I'm actually going
Yes.
to 22. I'm sorry. I forgot to take that damage off everybody.
I didn't realize you hadn't taken the damage off.
Yep. Nope, but we got it corrected now, so apologize for that.
So I will pass and exile. Ooh.
Yeah.
Krazakar, Eye Tyrant to Prosper.
Oh, lordy.
I love that card.
That's gonna be fun next turn.
He says next turn.
I will untap. On my upkeep, I trigger Deadbridge Chant. There are 10 cards in my graveyard, so I'm just going to roll this d10.
Mm-hmm.
And I return the 7th card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is pretty good. Majestic Mirror
Nice.
Arc 1.
Oh.
Its power and toughness are equal to twice the number of creatures I control. So this goes to the battlefields.
Nice.
So big 4/4 here. Gains flying until end of turn if I can control a creature with flying. The same is true for first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. Unfortunately, my Cathril has no keywords.
Sorry.
You are not.
And
Sorry.
You're terrible to
bit.
our
I
guest.
have a
little bit.
vanilla 3/3 and vanilla 4/4, but I'll draw a card and maybe we'll get lucky here.
All right.
All right. So I think I need to hit this land drop. So I'm gonna play. There's no untapped lands under Share the Spoils, right?
There's a
this-
swamp.
Did somebody take
Swamp.
this prairie stream?
No.
So there's a prairie stream as well if you've got 2
Okay.
basics.
I do have 2 basics. I think the swamp is gonna do it. No. I think I need the green pip. I'm gonna play the Sandstep Citadel from my own spoils, and I'll exile a Canopy Vista. So there we go. To it. Then you know what? It's flavor time. I'm gonna pay 3, and I'm gonna cast a Commander Sphere. Greatest podcast in the world. And then I'm gonna tap it for a green mana. I'll use it to cast Yonic, Scavenging Sentinel. So I'm gonna exile Cathril with Yonic. Yonic has Vigilance, so now Majestic Mirror has Vigilance as well. And I can distribute 3+1 counters. I'm gonna just put... let's put 2 on the Mirror and 1 on Yonic. And that's all I got. I'll pass the turn.
I'm a big fan of Majestic Mirror Arc. I think that card's really cool.
It's really neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, untap here, and let's see, what else? Am I supposed to put anything back into this exile zone?
Only if you,
Only if you play
cast
something.
some or use something from it.
Okay. Let's see. I don't see. Let's see. You got 2 lands and what else? What do you have under it, Jeremy?
I've got a swamp and a theater of horrors.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We'll draw for turn. That's probably the smartest thing to do, right?
I have a Canopy Vista for you. That's a good basic.
It is a good
Or
basic.
a good land for you.
It is.
Alright, guys.
I've thought about it. I've considered it. And I'm going to actually go my own way and play a Blighted Woodland. And then I shall, with all this wonderful mana that I have now, play smartly and use the colorless to tap this now. So I have green, white, and green for Yavimaya Elder.
Nice.
Yep. And that's going to do absolutely nothing because these are also these are 3s, so at the beginning of combat I won't gain any indestructibility or anything like that, so swinging into a board state like this is not the smartest thing, I don't think. No. I'm going to pass and yeah. Leave up these two lands very inconspicuously. And I didn't play anything out of the thing, so I don't have to exile anything to that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Good.
Okay. I'll play this island.
Alrighty.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
10.
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
That is the requisite number, and the number is 10. I would like to cast Storm Herd.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
31 ponies.
Yes, I would like to make 31 ponies. I actually don't have any Pegasus tokens, so
Jim.
I'm going to use my Andrea Radic Angel token, which is a bird with a cheeseburger.
Cute.
So these are 1/1s.
Yes.
I feel I'm not long for this
31
world.
flyers, Jim. That is a swift vengeance indeed.
I feel I'm not long for this world.
Yes.
Not only swift, but also merciless.
Yep.
Ugh.
The ponies know no
Alright.
mercy.
Well.
All right.
I
Then
took out. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to look at the top card of my library. I can't cast it, so I'm going to pass the turn.
Jeremy, you might die
Alright.
first.
Yeah. Very well could.
Swiftly.
Jeremy.
And this would be a great way to go because I love that card.
I have a My Little Pony deck that the win con for a long time was Impact Tremors Storm Herd.
Beautiful.
But I ended up cutting Impact Tremors because it was too off flavor. But it was fun while it lasted.
I actually won on
Upkeep trigger.
the MTG Lexicon stream last week with my budget Kanji Flyers, blue-white Flyers deck because I
And
resolved
he's great.
I resolved that and had a crashing drawbridge on board.
Sick.
It was nice. Hey.
Just about every commander that's been mentioned on this stream so far, I have a deck built off for that commander within reach.
In fairness, mine's the Sky Warden, so it came out of Commander Legends.
Ah.
Yes, but that one is awesome. I love the.
You mentioned
I love that.
Rurik Thar earlier. I
I
have a
did.
Rurik Thar deck here.
They're all within reach. How are yours all
So-
so close?
I have a filing cabinet under my desk that I keep my decks in.
Nice.
Oh.
That is
So I have
brilliant.
an upkeep trigger for everyone
You do.
with the Orzhov Advocist.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature he or she controls. If you do, that creature cannot attack me or a planeswalker I control in my next turn.
As tempting as that is, I would like to decline.
Merciless.
I would like to
Um,
swiftly decline.
You sure? You sure about that?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I mean, I'll take the
no,
deal.
No. If a player does,
Wait.
creatures that player controls can't attack you or a
Creatures.
planeswalker.
Correct.
So it's
yeah.
not
creatures.
just the
So-
it's not
oh,
just
yeah,
the creature you put the counters on.
Yeah, the
I
card is
All
misread
of them.
that.
big
All your
good.
creatures.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them. Well,
Important clarification.
yes, I don't have a problem with that. So I will put the 2 counters on Audra because I'm not going to attack into that wall with it. So Odric,
to
Audric.
deny Jim of his swift vengeance.
I'm gonna put the 2 counters on Gonti.
I'll put 2 counters on Ayara. Ooh, on Yannick, excuse me. So this is up to
Right. So the only person I have to worry about
It's
until
31
my next
flyer.
turn is, yeah, with my 32 life.
Yeah, you're at 32. There's nothing to worry about. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
what are you even?
Yeah, yeah.
You can't figure out a way to do 1 damage.
Alright, so I think I'm gonna play this swamp from the spoils, get a treasure token, and exile Grim Hireling to it.
Ooh, that's a card.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a card. I love that card.
that's a fun card. And might as well go out with a Blaze of yeah.
Yeah, you flubbed
Yeah.
it. Don't even try.
Words are hard.
Don't even try now. You flubbed it. It's
I'm gonna
fine.
cast the Eye Tyrant.
Nice.
Make another treasure token. So how many do I have now? I have 6 treasure tokens.
Gonna cast the Cyclops.
Yes.
All right. So we've kind of talked, and this one will come out of kind of nowhere for both of you, Jim and Rachel here. But this one should be a pretty easy one to answer. For a stream that is as small as mine, what would you recommend? You know, since we're talking about being honest and everything here, like we were earlier in the show, what would you recommend a stream that is small, such as mine, does to more positively impact the pre-game and post-game conversations? Like, is there certain things that you think that, you know, for us moving forward that we could really focus on to, you know, help showcase those types of things?
I love having a post-game conversation. I think that's a great way to just see if you accomplished what you wanted to do. The way that I think I've been trying to template the pre-game conversations that I have as much as possible, and I use the number of fast mana pieces, the number of tutors, the amount of free interaction is in the deck, and the density of that interaction. And then any infinite combos, particularly infinite combos with fewer than 3 or fewer cards. And then obviously anything, if there's anything technically illegal about the card, anything, the deck, anything you need to rule 0. So we're talking about, you know, proxies, silver bordered cards. If you're doing some like a creative choice with your commander or something like that. I think that is just sticking to, like, picking your template and using the same template as much as possible. I think teaches habits and just modeling the kind of rule 0 conversation you want to see in the world.
Okay. No, I mean, that's great advice.
Yeah, I think I would probably add to that. A lot of the time, you're going to end up playing with other content creators. And I think it may not be as helpful for modeling behavior that you want to see, like, from people at your LGS or people that you randomly run into. But I think that this is a good practice when you're playing with other content creators, and then kind of in a different way is useful in LGS. But setting the tone, like what kind of stream do you want to be, and then adequately communicating that to your guests. So I'd say, like, you know, on Olivia's stream, she uses the term beer and 8 drops all the time, right? They don't get too stressed out, and I know a lot of the chatters that are here from Olivia's stream, they don't get stressed out too much if somebody like wins the game early or whatever. It's just kind of like it's socializing with a little bit of magic going on.
I see.
And
Okay.
so, Olivia tends to set the tone as like, don't get too hung up on anything that's happening in the game because we're just kind of here to screw around and have fun. But if you want to be a stream that like focuses on gameplay, then that conversation is going to be a lot different, right?
Sure.
You're putting a different amount of focus, a different amount of emphasis on the in-game actions. If I were to have a stream and we were playing CEDH, I might say, okay, well, we're going to pay attention to passing priority properly, like communicating, make sure that you announce your plays, like making all of these things that are easier for viewability. But yeah, that's probably what I would say. Just make sure that you're setting expectations with your guests on the stream and do your best to meet them.
That's a great idea.
Cool. And obviously that's advice not just for, I'm glad to hear that kind of advice for Jeremy and I, but also, for anybody out there that might be listening that can use that type of advice. If you want to, believe me, if I can do this, if I can stream this kind of stuff and I can talk into a microphone, you can too. And, if you want to get into this sort of thing, please do. It's an awesome, fun time, and let me know when you do, because I have no problem playing Magic against people.
Yeah, and like I said, in a different way, it like works for your LGS as well, right? Like,
yeah.
the feel bads come from when people are expecting something and they don't get it, or they get something that's totally different and incompatible with what they wanted. So if you're running a commander night, set the expectations about what kind of a night it's going to be. If it's hey, we're jamming precons into each other, tell people that, or they will not bring precons; they'll bring their own decks, right?
Right.
So just like make sure that everybody's showing up with the same expectations, and then do your best to deliver on it.
Cool. Well, thank you. Hopefully that was helpful for everybody in chat. I know it was helpful for me. All right, Jeremy, I delayed your turn again. I'm very happy about it.
Of course. I've just been trying to do math. Math is hard, especially this time of night.
Let me help you out. 32 minus 31 is 1.
I'm just trying to get as much magic out of this game as I can before I die.
Damon, I'm just trying to get back into Magic.
Jim, if you attack someone else, we both draw a card and lose a life.
Yeah, that's accurate.
You wanna draw a card and not attack me, right?
I don't.
All right.
Pretty sure Jim figured out how to make you lose a life, though.
Drawing cards is for people that don't have 31/1/1 flyers.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yes.
All right, so move to combat.
Mm-hmm.
Just swing out. He's swinging.
Not completely, but just about. Everything's coming at you, Brandon.
God.
Yeah, suck it, Brandon.
And when I attack a player, I'm gonna tap your Odric and goad it.
All right.
So that's 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Sweet. Yes, I'll proceed to blocks. What's the biggest creature coming at me?
4/4 Gonti. Or
Okay.
4/5 Gonti.
Okay, I will throw the Yavimaya Elder in front of that. So that'll take me down to 11 damage that I'll
11 damage, yes.
take. Okay, before the damage, I'm going to pay the 2 to sacrifice the Elder to draw the card.
Of course.
So I'll, when it dies, I'll search my library for 2 basic lands, so I'll go get those, and then I'll draw the card. Okay, and I'm going to take the 11, so I'll go down to 11 here.
Yes.
There we go. And Damon, you're just trying to get back into Magic, but the whole Commander thing is new to you. Well, welcome back to Magic, and welcome to the Commander. Thank you for joining in and watching so far. So you've just been watching and trying to catch up. Just welcome back to the game. It's a great time to be in it because we just had the Year of Commander last year. Had a lot of really cool things happen, and yeah, it's Commander as a whole. Not just because, and I do this regardless of whether Jim and Rachel are on my stream. I truly believe that the RC CAG has done a really good job to try and help mold the and Wizards, to credit them as well, to put Commander in a good place where we're having some good, fun, powerful games. We won't get into the cost conversation, but we're having some good, fun, powerful games, and there's definitely, if the current play group that you were in is not right for you, the good news is the way the Commander is now, I'm finding that there's definitely a pod right around the corner that you, or on, here on Spell Table, that you can definitely make yourself a part of. So welcome back to the game.
Absolutely.
So I took my damage. I'm gonna go find my basics, and
since you took 7 or more damage, I'm gonna activate my Spine Rock Knoll and cast Fevered Suspicion.
This card's sweet.
And that is casting from exile, so I will get a treasure. So that's 6, 7, 8. So each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until you exile a non-land card. I may cast any number of those spells without paying their mana cost.
I've got a Desperate Ravings,
What?
which is
Desperate Ravings.
which is draw 2 cards, then discard a card at random.
Okay.
The 6 mana 6/6 Death Touch. So where did these? Where did the exit? These just go are exiled the lands?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say they go back to the library or any bottom of the library or anything.
Yeah. So Soul of Innistrad for you.
oof. You got an Avacyn's Pilgrim from me.
Yeah. Might as well. I'm gonna cast all except for the Desperate Ravings.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's a 6/6 Death Touch and a
The
Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Avacyn's Pilgrim is a 1/1 that taps for white.
Soul of Innistrad has some abilities. You can pay 3 black. Return target creature from 3 black. Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. 3 black. Exile it from your graveyard. Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. This is very strong. This should probably be played more.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to activate that. At least not this turn. So that goes there, and why not? Well, let's continue having fun. Black, red for a Bedevil. And I think... Brandon, I want you to die next. I'm gonna kill...
Kill my Odric.
Yeah, kill your Audrey.
Alright. Good, got rid of the goated one.
Not that it would really matter. Because you couldn't attack me next turn anyways.
No, it just saves me from attacking somebody else because I really want you to die.
Well, I'm going to. And I will pass the turn and exile a Shadow Blood Ridge to prosper.
I have 9 cards in my graveyard. This is a D10. If I roll a 0, I'll re-roll. It's a 2.
Alright.
I get a Blighted Woodland to hand. Boy, there are a lot of colorless lands in this deck. For a 3-color deck.
Yeah, really.
Then I will draw for turn.
Damon, which precons did you pick up? There's been a lot of good ones recently.
Play the Canopy Vista.
Ooh, a Johnny.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brandon, did you take 1 more commander damage?
Oh, did you swing at me with Prosper?
I did.
You schmuck.
Well, we're gonna
Alright.
go...
Better keep track of that.
I am. There you go.
It might be important. Maybe? Jim? Maybe?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ooh, big one. I like it.
Wow.
Hornet Queen.
Oh,
Nice.
yes.
Yes.
4 bugs. Hornet Queen.
Love that card.
Notably, that makes my Majestic Mirror Arc much bigger, and it gives both Yannick. Well, it gives Majestic Mirror Arc both flying and
Death touch.
touch.
Now I am definitely not making it through the next turn. All right.
Yeah. We are gonna go. Well, I can't attack you, Jeremy. I made a vow.
Oh, that's right. You
Your
took
advocate.
that. You took that.
Did.
1, 2, 3,
Woohoo.
4, 5, 6, 7. So I do control 7 creatures. This has 2 counters on it. So this is a 16/16.
Oof.
Whoa. That's a big.
Pretty.
That's a
That's
spicy
chunky.
meatball.
Yeah. I mean, attacking Jim doesn't do a whole lot right now. Plus, I want him to have every pony.
You could attack Brandon and kill him.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to combat, and I will send Majestic Mirror Arc at you, Brandon.
Perfect.
I didn't die first. Yes.
That is
You will
true.
get blocked, but it does trigger the Krazakar, so Jeremy, you will lose 1 life. Just helping Jim
Yep.
out here, and I will lose and draw a card.
All right.
Um,
Notably, Jeremy, when I die, you're going to lose Avacyn's Pilgrim, the Advocist, and the Elite.
Yep.
Weird. Why the hell is this in this deck? That's very strange. Okay, that's all I got, so I will pass.
I'm a little amazed I wasn't the first to die.
Well,
I'm here to help.
I appreciate it. Anytime I can outlive Brandon, that makes me happy.
that is what he lives for, I believe. So,
I will bird.
here we go. Get rid of that. Let's see. Damon bought like at least 7 to 10 precons. Wow. Well, reach out to me on Twitter at Create Commander, and we'll see if we can jam a game. This is a series that I'm doing throughout the year. The whole year, it's going to be called Out of the Box, where we literally are taking precons just such as these, jamming games with them. So reach out to me. Let's see, in Firecraft had a few games. Table almost let me resolve Obnix Unshackled with Op Agent and Marilyn. Ooh.
Gross.
Ugh. Your group is nice, I can see.
Okay, so I'm going to move to combat.
I died to a bunch of flying horses.
He has not declared yet.
I will declare 31 Pegasi attacking Jeremy.
Yes.
And I will take 31 to the face.
Yes. You did.
Uh,
You died. Haha. Welcome to the club.
Then I'm going to tap 4 and play Chemister's Insight, which is draw 2 cards, and then it's got Jumpstart.
Love that card.
Notably, the cards in exile to share the spoils will obviously remain in exile.
Yes.
No
Spoils
longer available.
longer.
So Rachel lost
And
the
the cards
Johnny.
that the Johnny's gone.
Yeah,
The
I
cards that you
didn't actually-
controlled go to the graveyard, or they get exiled. Where do these go?
I can never remember. I think they go to the graveyard, but I can never remember what the actual rules are.
Which, okay, hold up. So what, who
This
owns the
was-
cards?
This was Gontied, and Soul of Innistrad was cast off of the big rebound spell. So like essentially Anatoly.
Fevered suspicion.
Yes.
Oh, so they're exiled right now?
They were on Jeremy's board when he died.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. So if you didn't control them before he controlled them, then they get exiled.
They get exiled.
Okay.
I did not.
Um,
They were in my
yeah.
deck.
Yes.
Because there was no
Yeah,
control
yeah.
changing effect that ends, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
That makes sense.
Okay, so then I'm going to pass the turn.
All right. I think I get one shot at this.
Yep.
Big draws. Big draws.
Oh no, you might have two. You might have one more turn after this.
Do.
He only has 31 flyers, and you got some flyers to block.
Yeah. or some flyers to attack.
Oh, that too. That too.
I mean, giant, large, majestic Miriarch there.
4 mana.
Yeah.
I would know.
I haven't played a land. If I play a land,
Really? How would you know that, Brandon?
Cause it killed me. All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
definitely.
Anyhow, chat.
Probably good. Okay, so
While
I'm gonna play a land for Blighted Woodland. I'm gonna pay 4. Cast Karametra, God of Harvests, which is she's a real girl.
Karametra's lovely.
So. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Oh, you're working, Damon, you're working
11.
on a spell table setup. Very good. Very good. It's really easy. You can use your phone, depending on whether you have an iPhone, Android. There's different apps that you can use to use spell table as a virtual camera. A bunch of different ways to do that. So I look forward to hearing from you.
3, 6, 7. Sorry, I'm doing math here, and the dice are
Yeah, no worries.
important part of it.
So I'll while Rachel is doing
Am I
some
happy?
math, while Rachel's doing some math here, because I want to make sure that she's got it right. I want to, Tech Junkie, you have no idea. I spend hours watching YouTube videos. I want to ask, as we're getting ready to probably wind down the wind down the stream here, because I think one of them is about to either smash the other one's face, but I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
Is there something that you would like to ask Jim or Rachel about how, fostering, helping creators like myself and Jeremy here foster a good environment for entry players? So I'll just throw that out there and see if we get a question for them before we kind of maybe
You know
wrap some
what?
things up.
We're gonna just go to combat, and we're gonna swing these bugs, this big chimera, and Yannick, which is on the ground. So everything flies except Yannick.
How much damage?
So those are attacks. It's going on board. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 14, 15, 16. So 6 plus 16 is 22. Plus 6 is 28.
28.
Almost.
No blocks.
4 damage. I'll tap Gavany Township and I'll put a +1 counter on each creature I control.
Oh.
I would like to respond.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to play Mandate of Peace.
Yeah.
And
Fuck.
end the combat combat phase.
Oh.
That prevents me from putting +1 counters on, correct?
No, they get them, but
Okay.
they will not deal damage. It ends the combat phase.
Alrighty, we go up to 4, 3, and these bugs get a little bit bigger. Very good.
And then you also can't cast spells for the rest of your turn.
Oh yeah, I'm tapped.
That was a spell. Oh man.
I love that card.
Ooh.
I have not found a deck for it yet, but perhaps I should.
Oh, yes. This is why I love these big things that happen at the end of precon games.
Yes.
Alrighty, that's it. Take it away, Jim.
Okay. I'll untap. I will regard. I'll look at the top card of my library. Ooh, that's a good one.
I like this question. How do you manage the different perception of power level between longtime players and new players? I think
Great question.
it's by using concrete language about the numbers. Like how much fast mana are you running? How many tutors are you running? How does your deck win? On what turn does it win? Try and speak as concretely and objectively as possible when you're having conversations about power level. The more you talk about stuff in relation, the less the murkier the communication waters get.
Yeah. I'm attacking you for 31.
I will block 1.
Okay. I will lose 1, I assume.
We'll go to 2.
And then I'll pass the turn.
Untap.
Blue player has a lot of open mana over there.
She sure do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 cards in my graveyard. I'll roll this dice.
Very good, Brandon. Very
It's a
good.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get a Croson Verge to my hand.
You know what a cat is. I'm proud of you, Brandon.
I'll draw the card. Ooh. Hilarious. Okay,
Let's see.
I will. So you have Elsha untapped.
Correct.
Lots
Yeah.
and lots of mana.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that one.
I will
Yep, do it.
jam with the boys.
No blocks.
Okay, go to damage.
Before damage.
Yes. Is it vigilance?
I'd like to cast Prismatic Strands.
What does this do?
Prevent all damage that sources of the color of my choice would deal this turn. I'm choosing green.
Green is a good
Oh
color.
my god.
That is a good choice. Oh my gosh.
That's Dos Fogos.
It is.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, that
Wow.
will prevent another combat, but I am going to cast this magic card. I'm gonna try. White, so I need white,
Oh.
black, green. How much colorless? Bunches. There's so many colorless lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Get that segment tapped. Alright. I am going to attempt to cast Dune Blast.
Ooh.
Use
Doom
up to
Blast.
1 creature, destroy the rest.
Ooh.
Choose
I
up to
am-
1. So you're choosing my Elsha?
I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose Hornet Queen.
We're going to choose Hornet Queen. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Ionic dies.
You know what? Before that resolves,
Yep. Yeah.
I'm going to tap Elsha. That is the flashback cost for Prismatic Strands. I'm going to cast it again, naming Chartreuse, and
Sure,
that will
yeah.
draw me a card off of Secrets of the Dead.
Yep. Very good. So Ionic dies. All of these insects die. Notably, Majestic Myriarch is indestructible from Karametra.
Wow,
Karametra does not die.
must
Capriel
be nice.
re-enters the battlefield
Wow.
and gets Vigilance, Flying, Death Touch. That's it. So 3 counters, 3+1 counters. So this is Death Touch, this is Vigilance, and what did I say?
Flying.
Flying.
And now, folks, we see the reason why you play
There's
Lightning Bolt in
flying.
Commander.
Oh, those are in my yard. And I don't think I cast any more spells. Sure, you know what? Let's do it. We're gonna cast a big
Yes.
Bonder's Ornament.
Hey!
I'll pass. It's Abzan. We play tap out magic.
Okay. I will untap.
Okay.
Draw a card.
Shoo.
I'll play this Mystic Monastery tapped. I'm going to cast. Purify the Grave. I would like to exile the top card of your library.
Do I see it?
top card. Oh, sorry, top card of your graveyard. I meant.
Precon.
Sure. Exile acidic slime.
Yeah, and then I would like to do it again.
Yep.
That will flash back. Oops, that will draw me a card.
Hmm?
I'm such a fan that Jim put Simic sleeves on a Jeskai deck.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The chaos.
My favorite part was you asked me like, why did you choose this commander for this deck? I'm like, please, you're giving me way too much credit here. Let's see. I'm going to. What is your artifact that you have there in the middle?
I have a Bonder's Ornament and a Commander's Sphere are my artifacts.
Okay.
That's it.
Firecraft still has the 4th edition bolts that they pulled from when 4th edition was on shelves. Wow. There you go. That's some beautiful
I
stuff.
was holding this card in my hand the entire game thinking that it was an instant, but it's not.
Oh no.
I guess I'll just pass.
Alright. Racing for
31
fog,
damage.
fog number 3 here. I will untap. Trigger, Deathbridge Chant. I have 7. We'll roll. It's a 0, so we roll again. It's a 3. 1, 2, 3. I get a Karen Wander to the battlefield. Then we draw for turn. Well, let's go to combat. Majestic, so we'll swing everything that can. Karametra is still alive, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
Yep.
And not 9. So I will attack with these guys. So that's 6 plus 3 plus 11. So 20 plus another 6. So 26 damage.
I will declare no blockers.
I will attempt to put +1 counters on all of them.
I would like to die. Is that lethal?
It's not. 26 plus 4 puts you to 1, I believe.
It's not 4 though. It adds 12 because of Majestic Miriok, right?
It puts +1 counters on each creature I control.
Yeah, and then the Majestic Miriok doubles that.
Oh, it is. I have another creature. I have.
Yeah, it's so
this
much.
Is bigger.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's.
Yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah, it's for sure lethal. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
very
that's
dead.
lethal.
Ugh, we
Ah.
Wow.
got there.
Nice.
There
Well,
you
I thought-
go.
Blast
I thought
off
those
the top rope.
I thought those
one
ponies
of
were
the-
gonna beat us all.
One of
Wow.
the lessons that you got to learn about Commander is that it matters how you die. So even though Rachel just won, she did it by massacring 31 ponies.
Yes.
That is a horrible nightmare.
I want this on the record. Rachel Weeks.
They dune blasted him with sand. That's so sad.
Oh
Nice
gosh.
and smooth. They weren't before.
Oh.
Nobody tell any ponies you know. Nobody.
Tell every pony.
Yeah, every pony lost that game.
I reanimated
Yes.
Karen Wanderer just so he could watch 20 ponies die. Actually, that was not at that point. I had a pony at the end, and that's what matters.
Oh.
Man.
GG's, everybody. Good
Yes,
game.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Good game.